Hello, hello everyone. Good good morning. Good morning. Welcome to 20s Hangouts 2023. If you can see me and hear me, please let me know. If you can see me and hear me, let me know. Good, good, good. Can you see me? I need to be sure. Yay! I love it. I love the excitement in the chat. I love it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to 20s Hangout 2023. Uh, I am Olamide Bomodioku, but I am called Lami Jane. So, first off, let's start by knowing ourselves. If you were here last year, 20s Hangout 2022 January, let me know. Like, signify in the comment section so that we know those of us that were here last year. First timers, don't worry, don't worry. And if you're watching the replay, drop a comment so we know. Okay, okay. Yeah, I was here. Okay, so let me share. Good. Okay, I'm seeing some OGs. I love it. I love it. I'm seeing some OGs. If you were here, let me know. If you this is your first 20s hangout, also let me know. Okay. Ooh, regular purposeful follower. I love it. I love it. Wow. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Okay, I've introduced myself. I'd love you to introduce yourself in the comment section, in the chat, whether you're live or watching the replay, introduce yourself. Just say your first name is fine. So, I can say hello, hello, hello to everyone. Okay, and if you're a first timer, like I said, signify. Let's know the first timers signify. And don't forget to call your buddies in. If there's a friend, a sister that is not here, that's supposed to be here, buzz them, let them know that we've started. Okay. Hello, Gabriel. Let the introductions continue. So, because of time, let's move on while we're having the introductions in the chat. So, I already introduced myself. I am Lami Jane. About 20s Hangouts. For those who were here last year, they would already know that, the one of the reasons for 20s Hangout is to help young adults, have access to the knowledge, information, the counsel they need to navigate this season of their life. Another very important reason is for them to see what is possible at this age, in this time, and to see others who are in their age bracket or who have experienced their age bracket and know what's possible. So, a quick recap of what I said: one, to have access to knowledge, counsel, wisdom, and also to see the possibilities of this time they are in. Okay. Okay, so I love it. Introductions are going on. Claudius, hi, hi, hi. Hi, hello. Okay, let the introductions, this is a hangout, right? And feel free to connect in the comment section, in the chat rather. Feel free to connect in the chat. Okay, so you must have seen that we have two speakers today, two buddies that will be speaking with us and chatting with us and sharing with us today. So the first person is Oladimeji Ajegbile, right? And the second is Timmy Awesu, right? Timmy Awesu was also here last year, and we are delighted to have him this year again. More than delighted, in fact, to have him this year again. Okay, so we're going to be starting off with Dimeji. We're going to be starting off with Dimeji, and quickly share with us let me quickly share with us a little bit, just a little bit about Dimeji, right? Okay. So um so I was asking if you could still hear me, and I'm not sure. I think I lost everybody for a second. Anyways, so I was about to go on and share a little bit with us about Dimeji, right? So it's popularly known as a Christian creative. Um, Dimeji is one of Africa's most eccentric creators, raising the next generation of independent creators and curators through the delivery of simple and relatable resources deeply rooted in sophisticated digital strategies. Okay, with an endorsement with Pixel, Unsplash, Canva, and more, Ola Dimeji continues to reach, engage, and serve millions with a reach of about 10 million individuals in today's creator economy. Okay, of course, there is so much more about Dimeji, right? But I'm sure you know who Dimeji is. If you have come across Dimeji on your Instagram feed at some point or the other, you know, one of his videos, his short videos, is very awesome, relatable content. If you've come across Dimeji at any point on Instagram, let me know, drop in the comment section. He also has a YouTube channel, in case you don't know. Anyways, but maybe because I'm a YouTuber, that excites me so much. Okay, yes, and that's about it. But just so you know, Dimeji is very keen on simplifying your creative process, right? It's very keen on simplifying your creative process. Not just that you create, but you create in such a way that it is simple for you who is creating and for your consumer to understand, right? Okay, so let me take a look at the chat. Yeah, we have a first timer here. Temiloluwa, good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you. We're excited to have you here. And yes, someone who has come across Dimeji on Instagram. Yes, definitely, definitely, definitely. I'm a follower of Dimeji. He's an inspiration, and it's so good to connect with him through 20 seconds. Yay! I love it. Okay, so there are a good number of people who have seen Dimeji at some point or the other on Instagram, on their feed. You know, you're probably following him and all that good stuff. That is lovely. Okay, so Dimeji, are you ready for us? Just, drop a chat for me in the private chat so I know you're ready for us. Okay, so I want you to drop some fires in the comments, in the chat. If the fires are not enough, I'm not bringing him up, just so you know. Drop some fires. Drop some fires, drop some fires. If you're watching the replay too, you can drop your fire in the comment section. Okay, drop some fires in the comments, and I'll bring Dimeji up. Good. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm seeing, but they're not enough. Okay. I'm seeing the fires, but I don't have enough. Okay. You can do better. I don't know. What's up? Oh, okay. Okay. I'm expecting more though, because you have to bring him in well, like properly. Do you know what Dimeji is? Do you know? Hey, you guys you're just getting it. Okay, okay, okay. So Dimeji, I am about to add you up. Yes, so good. Hey, sorry. How are you doing? Hello, Dmeji.
Hi, hello. Can you hear me?
Hey, crisp and clear. It
Awesome,
is
awesome.
literally entering my ears. I love it.
Awesome.
Yes. So, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for asking.
It's so good to have you here. Like, thank you. I'm thanking you publicly because I don't think I've had the chance to do that. Um, Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Thank you for being here. It means so much to us that you have decided to take out time of your time to come share with us and to come share counsel, exchange counsel, and also answer questions brooding in people's minds. It means a lot. We do not take your time for granted. I celebrate you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Okay,
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
I love it. Okay, so quickly, Dimeji will be talking to us and with us about mistakes he's made in his 20s. And of course, I'm sure he's going to share a few stories here and there. And yes, we'll definitely learn. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box. When it's time to take questions, we're going to look through the chat box and both speakers are going to answer your question. Does that sound good? Okay, Dimeji, are you ready to take it away?
Yeah, I guess I am. You lead the
Okay.
way, I'll follow.
Actually, we're going to be here together. It's going to be a conversation. It's a hangout.
All
So,
right.
yeah. Yes, you can shoot.
All right. Um, so hi everyone. It's good to be here.
Sorry,
And
sorry to cut you. Just so you know, there is about a 20 to 30 seconds lag in the receiving of the charts. So in case you ask
oh,
them to
okay.
put something and you don't get it in time, yes,
Oh, okay. All right. I
yes.
understand that. So it's actually very interesting to see a number of comments. I feel like a superstar. Um, but I think one of the things that I'm really learning these days is understanding that whatever position you're in right now, it's very much temporary. Whether it is the best position or it's not been the best, it's not been so great. Uh, like it's still temporary. So life is like in phases, and it's a journey that is never ending.
So
So
true.
I think yesterday on Instagram I made a post about adulthood, and I told people to like give me what they love about adulthood in the comments, and you can expect very funny and weird comments, right?
Very,
And I was
yeah.
making a point that you get to a point in your life where the last 18 to 20 years of your life becomes a distant memory. Now you're basically responsible for yourself. You've things have always been done for you, I mean, literally everything, bills, having food on your table, and all of those things. And then you get to a place in just a number of, say, 2 to 3 months, you transition
Mm,
from that life into a one where you have to be responsible for yourself. It feels very
right.
daunting and scary.
Very.
But one of the things I learned while I was transitioning from that phase is that you build connections along the way and you learn by doing. It's not like everything comes to you on a platter. It never does.
Mm.
So I don't know if there's anybody in the chat who sort of understands how weird this can be. If you're above 18, you know what I'm talking about. And we're currently in this age now that everybody feels like they lie to us. Nobody lied to us, if I'm being honest, because they all live the same lives as well. But then now we are seeing things differently, and we're like, I
Mm.
don't think I agree with that lifestyle where you feel like I have to be stuck with just one thing.
Right,
Um,
right.
I want to explore more into my what is special about me, my creativity, whatever it is. And we
Mm.
find people in their 20s today doing a number of things, like a million and one things.
Mm.
And that's because in those days, these people had like maybe just one job, civil servants, or I don't know, a trader, whatever it is. It was just one thing. And they
One
put
thing.
everything into that one thing. But then you see us today,
And they were
we're
satisfied with
like,
the one thing. It was enough.
they were, and
It
it built
was just
something
enough.
like amazing for them. But then right
Mm.
now, we have somebody who is 18 or 19 doing like 10 different things.
Tell me about
And
it.
what scares me now is the 10 things we don't have one that we master. And
So
it's just like
good.
we are beating around the bush on several different things without a
Mm.
specific focus. Now, I'm not saying you should niche, but then be able to master one and then diversify into other things along the way.
Mm.
So I'll just share personal experience, right? So, I mean, you were doing an introduction, and if the introduction further a little bit, you would hear Dimeji is an architect, is a designer, is a podcaster, is a
I
YouTuber,
decided
is a
not to
video
read everything
creator,
because I'm just like, Dimeji
right?
is Dimeji.
I started like 3 to 4 firms or
Mm.
startups and a lot of other things, and I'm not even 30 yet.
Mm.
Now, all of these things, it sounds very amazing to hear, but it actually isn't. Because if you try to do like a weighing and then try to understand, okay, all the things you started and all the things that have continued and are lasting today, which one, right? You realize that there were a lot more abandoned projects along the way than
Mm.
things that you actually stayed on and achieved something about. And I'll share one. So I remember while I was transitioning from, my master's, like BSc to master's, within that space of like 3 months of break, I decided to do something and explore an entrepreneurial side of myself. While I was doing all of that, I took on this furniture business and poured money into it. Well, money from my fees anyway. My parents was not here. I took out money from my master's fee and then I invested
Mm.
it in the business and I put everything into it. But then I made some mistakes along the way, right? Imagine you hiring a carpenter to do the designs you've designed for a furniture business and then prepared and planned for like a show day, the day where you're going to like have people come and like an open day where they will come and see the furniture, test it, and then you can pitch to investors and all of that. And I was
Mm-hmm.
doing all of this, that was 2015. But then it, about 3 weeks to when I'm supposed to have this speech, I realized that my exams were coming up. So I decided to pause my exams, the business, and then
Oh.
do my exams and then get back to, the open day exhibition.
Mm. Mm.
Those 3 weeks plus 1 week of exams, something happened, right? Um, After exams, I was excited. I was already even sharing invites for this exhibition, and then I realized that something was different. I
Mm.
started seeing types of my design in other places, and I was wondering what was going on.
No
Only for me to realize
way.
that within the 3 weeks of me being away, the carpenter had already gone ahead, took my drawings, took my ideas, and reproduced them in numbers.
That's so sad.
And there was no point even exhibiting anymore because everybody has seen it. So I ended up losing a lot of money, packing this furniture and just using it in my apartment then. And it was
Wow.
like, this is a big blow. So how do I get my money back? How do I do this? There was no headway,
I have
right?
a question.
And
Let me
in
let
that,
me just sorry, hold it. Hold the thought. Don't lose it. How did that make you feel at that level? I mean, you had masters going on, right? And definitely you were probably in your mid 20s at this time. How did that make you feel? And how did you navigate that season?
actually, it was early 20s. I think I was
Okay.
21.
Okay. That's
And
bold.
one
That's
of
really bold. At 21,
one of the
that's
things
bold.
one the way I felt about it was that
Mm.
ah, this is the end. My parents must not hear about this. I am done. Second year of masters was going to start. So how am I going to pay my fees and all of that? I mean, we're
Oh my
talking
god.
about 800K in investment, and it was just wild.
At that time,
And
800K must have been a lot.
yes, so I was in between. Should I quit and focus on just exploring and making money, or I mean, there was no option. There
Mm.
was, as in, there was no quit or no quit option. It was just this thing. You've been on it for a year. this business, you put your entire soul into it, and
Mm.
now both of them look like they're going to fail.
Wait, eh,
So while I was in that process, I poured myself into self-help books
mm,
and content as early as that time, 2015. And one thing I realized was that nobody has it figured out. People failed along the way, and those failures sort of helped them become better.
mm,
So while it was going to be the typical thing for me to beat myself up, I didn't do that. I
mm.
just decided that, you know what, I'm brushing this thing to the side. I'm going to go and take a 9 to 5 job. Even with my masters, I have to make this money back, no matter what, like no matter the cost. At least settle masters and then maybe build this business later or focus
Now,
on something
yeah.
else. So um, I decided to just get a job, and the job I got
Okay.
was with an architectural firm. I became a landscape architect and basically just did side gigs with them. So major projects that I did. There was this beautification of under bridges in Lagos, where they
Mm.
would turn the under bridge to like a garden and a park. So I was lucky enough to be one of the main architects for that project and
Ah,
for Lagos State government,
beautiful.
and it was a really good one. I mean, I was able to make back my money like after 3 months, and that just taught me something that wait, oh, I don't have to wait till I'm done with school before I can get into the market. So I went all
Absolutely.
out. Yeah. But then before I went all out, I made sure that I was done with my program. And within that period of me doing the program for the next 1 year, I was planning ahead for when I'm going to get into the space. And me getting there now, I'm not going in as a 9 to 5er. I'm not going as somebody who's employed. I'm starting something by myself. So
Mm.
that experience taught me that look, you don't plan for failures, which is a terrible thing. Plan for failures. They are a good part of the journey. Like you
Mm.
can't just brush them to one side. That is what makes the journey interesting. Because when I'm telling the story now, somebody's like probably feeling inspired or feeling empathetic
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But then all of this thing I'm sharing now would not be possible if I didn't go through that period of failure. So I feel like we discount so much of the failures we have that it becomes a nightmare for us, but it shouldn't
Mm.
be. It's supposed to be a stepping stone into achieving more things for yourself. I mean, it allowed me to realize that if I can successfully carry out a project, and even though I wasn't the one that got the benefits from it, people loved
Mm.
it, which means I have something
You have
valuable to
something.
give. So
Absolutely.
I need to explore more and be able to craft out better ways to express myself, but at the same time not be at the detriment, or like not, you know, not be on the losing side. So I became
Mm.
very invested in business of creativity, business of design, and I went all out with it. So I'm talking about 4 years now. Between 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, I invested in learning about business of being a creative.
Mm.
How do you earn from your ideas, your thoughts? How do you earn without even getting a 9 to 5? How do you
Mm.
balance creativity and business? Because
Business.
growing up, I've always learned that creativity and business, they are mutually exclusive. You can't do both of them evenly. And I'm like, is it
Mm.
why won't I be able to do that? This is something I'm good at. So
Right.
then for like the first 4 years of doing this thing actively, I did not earn anything from it. I mean, it felt like a one-sided investment. I was just pouring money in and nothing was coming back out.
Mm.
That felt very, very painful at first. But then in 2020, there was like a snap. All of those years of experience, those years of planning, of training
Mm.
became very useful, right? It felt
Oh.
as though everything was preparing for 2020. And what happened in
Mm.
2020? Lockdown, people wanted to
Yeah.
learn more about digital space,
Yeah.
creativity, learn design, and all of those things. And before I knew it, I started making like really good money. All
Wow.
because I've been preparing all my life. I mean, for the
Mm.
past 4 years for that. But I didn't know that was what I was preparing for. So remember what I said at the beginning that you learn as you go, you learn on the journey. That's literally what I learned, what I did.
Mm.
At the beginning, I knew nothing. 2 years later, I felt like I still didn't know anything. Now,
Right.
7 years after, I still feel like I don't know anything. So it's like
Mm.
let the let the let the learning like just keep learning, right? You never
Mm.
get to a point where you feel like you've known it all, and that's one of the things that I go by every single time. And whatever it is that you think you know right now, please discard it. You don't know anything, because there are people
So
who know
good.
so much than you that you can learn from. And there's this thing that we hear a lot, that other popular maybe social media influencers say, and they say that
Mm.
um, don't compete with somebody you should be learning from. Right? It's very important.
So
When I first started, there were persons that I looked up to, and I patterned my, like I just picked a couple of persons together, and I'm like, these 7 people, I'm going to understudy them and practice the things they practiced,
mm.
avoid their mistakes, learn
Mm-hmm.
from them. I wasn't quick to go and see them as competition because I'm like, these people have gone like 6, 7 years ahead of me. But then, in just the space of 2 years, I found myself standing on the same, podium, giving
Mm.
lectures, giving keynote speeches, giving talks with them. I still don't consider myself as equals with them, but I mean, I've been able to get myself to a place where they recognize me as somewhat a colleague, and I've leveraged those relationships to a really good space. So, you're starting something in your 20s, don't think it is going to succeed in your 20s. If you
Mm.
succeed, you're lucky, it's good. I'm excited for you. But if it doesn't succeed, you still have a lot more years to go. I mean, we hear all these kind of motivational speeches that say, my life didn't start until 40, my life didn't start until 50. So why are you
Mm.
stressing yourself? They're right. But we don't want to hear that because we feel like um I need to be that next big thing. The next
Mm-hmm.
big thing
Mm-hmm.
would eventually become outdated or obsolete. Let's look
Absolutely.
at the entertainment industry, for example. There are persons we knew like 3 years ago, they were on the top of the game. Right now, we don't hear anything about them. I don't want to mention names, but you know a couple of persons. But then look at the last 3 years from 2020 or 2019, but 2020 really up until
2020,
now.
yeah. Mm.
Something has changed. You find independent creators or creatives or whatever it is you want to call them, people who stand by themselves to push whatever it is that they have.
Mm.
They've been there since and they're still there till now.
Mm.
Something is changing, which means there is this decentralization of this public space, of this creative space, this creator economy, whatever it is you want to call it, tech space. People who stand alone and are exploring these things by themselves, they actually gain more relevance and they stay in the game longer than people who just um who are in like fixed
Mm.
industries where they have to depend on other persons to sort of rise or to sort of do
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And this means that now is the best time to leverage this because 2020 was like the beginning, 2021 was great, 2022 was like absolutely crazy. But this 2023 is different because now people understand it very clearly that you can't go all out and want to go with the crowd. You have to actually stand by yourself and build something. Now, am I saying you don't need people? No. But I'm saying that you need community, but then you need to actually have your head straight on, telling yourself that this is what I want to go for and I'm going all out with it.
All
Now,
out with
while
it.
you're on this journey, realize that it is never straightforward.
Mm.
It is never straightforward. You get to a point where everything starts to look like a repetition. And these are
Mm.
moments where you need to just reinvent the wheel. It got to a point I felt like I was being rigid and I was doing the same thing over and over again. I'm like, you know what? I'm scrapping everything I've done in the past. I'm doing something entirely different. I have that flexibility because I am not bound by somebody else's directives.
Mm.
I'm not being controlled by people's ideas or people's directions. Sometimes you need those direction, and this is when you can rely on books. You can rely on other people that sort of are like better than you in the space, or for whatever reason you think you're not getting it right now. It is not the end of the world. It's just still a stepping stone. It's just a part of the process. And um, one of the things I'm living by this year, 2023,
Mm.
is I'm rolling with only doers. And
Woo!
what I mean by that is you've you,
Ah.
you you have so much to give,
Mm.
but then you are waiting or you are sort of holding it back because you feel like every other person is doing it. If every other person is doing it, I
Key
don't
point
think
right there.
20s hangout to be happening because we have quite a number of 20s hangouts out there. But then what makes
Right.
this different is because there's a unique perspective that you bring to it. There's a unique
Mm.
energy you bring to. I mean, your energy this morning was very, very bold. So everybody has that thing that they can just bring to the table.
Thank
Don't think
you.
everybody's doing it. And what
Mm.
about yourself? Can you add like a sprinkle of salt and pepper to add to it and make
Mm.
it much more
And some
interesting. Add those
spice.
things. Yes, add those things. I mean, I wasn't the first person to start doing a video podcast in Nigeria, but then I was one of the people who really made it go mainstream, even though I
Mm.
did it for just 2 years and I stopped, right? I
Mm.
just wanted to lay a foundation or a ground for people to come in and start doing the same thing and add their own uniqueness to it. And how did I come about this idea? I realized that a couple of podcasts, the big ones in Nigeria, Jesus and Jollof,
Mm.
I said what I said, we're only doing audio. So I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
why not just add video? Even though
Mm.
the video was not so good, it was my smartphone I used to start. I started regardless, and over time, people started to see is that I eventually started mentoring big organizations and their media team
Mm.
on how to actually leverage storytelling through audio and video. And
Wow.
all of these things happened because I found a way to reinvent the wheel in this area or in this world,
Dimeji,
right?
let me come in there. I have like a couple of questions that burst in my head, but then I want to ask
All
this one
right.
because I feel like it's probably on someone's mind. How do you've mentioned a couple of times, the furniture business, right? You studying content creation when you started, short videos were not even a big thing.
Yeah, and I did that for like 2 years before short
Yeah,
video
and
became a
you
big
were
thing.
very consistent with it as at when you did it, right? And now you are even
Yeah.
doing much more, right? And now, you also mentioned at some point about where you got tired and you're like, you know what, let's reinvent the wheel. When you get to those points of making major decisions, I'm I'm very sure you have crippling thoughts at the same time,
Yes, will they
right?
accept it?
Yeah.
Will I lose my followers?
Like, is it a waste of my time? Is it worth my time? Is it,
Yeah.
this is not the norm? How do you shut those crippling thoughts down? I think that summarizes my question. How do you shut those crippling
Hmm.
thoughts down?
So I think you have to allow them, happen
Hmm.
because if they don't, they would hide somewhere later when you've sort of done it and it's starting to look like it. Those thoughts will come and say you're a fraud.
Hmm. My
So
God.
at the beginning, you have to let them
So good.
happen. It is a natural part of the whole process. You have to let them happen. And for me now, there was a major thought that I had that was in my thoughts for like the longest time, which is what if Instagram goes away? Huh.
Hmm.
The thought kept coming back over and over again because I built everything on Instagram. It kept coming back. What if Instagram goes away? And I felt like, oh, if this platform should die, I mean, I'll be lost and forgotten. So what did I do? I decided to like start building these things by myself behind the scenes, not for anybody, but for myself now.
Hmm.
And one of the good things that I learned from that was from 2019 up until 2020, while I was doing short form videos over and over again, putting them on like occasionally on TikTok or I mean sometimes upload them as normal videos on Instagram.
Hmm.
Uh, I realized that I was actually building a portfolio of really good things and I was improving my skills as I was going. But then in 2020 August, when they released Reels, I mean, I was like, whoa, I don't have to start creating new
Like,
content.
this
I
is
already
me.
have a backlog of short
Hmm.
form videos that I've created over the space of a year. And
Mm-hmm.
for the next 6 months, I was just uploading things I've created in the past. And that allowed
Wow.
me to grow my account from, I think, about, was it like maybe about 3,000 to about 12,000 within the space of 6 months. I was like, whoa, just from short form
That's a
videos.
thing.
And then when I realized that I was already getting to the end of all of those things,
Hmm.
I have to reinvent the wheels. So I started trying out a couple of different things. While trying it out, the thought kept coming, what if they don't accept? What if they feel like this is not what they signed up for? But
Mm-hmm.
then, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I didn't really care anymore at that point because I was like, you know what, I'm going to go all out with this, whether they like it or not. I'm doing it first for me because I want to express myself in this way. And over time, people who would love it would come. I don't
Would
have to
love it.
force them, right? And um, I started doing this kind of dancing funny videos. The very first time I wanted to upload it, I was like, this thing is going to look stupid. Don't post it. So I
Sorry,
kept
for
it.
an introvert, how did that make you feel? Because it was very out of your comfort zone, right?
Yes, it
You are a
was.
renowned
But then,
introvert.
what I realized with that is
Mm,
behind the scenes we are weird and quirky people.
all of us. All of
So I'm
us.
like, why not just put that part of yourself out there?
Mm.
Other persons like you might identify, and it becomes a good thing. So I was like,
And we
okay.
did. We
But then
did.
that took me about 3 months before I shared it. I created it 3 months before I shared it. Going back and forth on would they like it? Would it
I
make
think we
sense?
all
Would
have
people not
content
think?
we never share with the world.
Yeah. But then the day I shared it, next thing I knew, in the space of about I think 3 hours, first time
Mm,
ever that I'll get a video that goes above 10K views. And my
mm.
accounts, my Instagram started popping. Like I started getting
Wow.
notifications. I felt like, oh my god,
What
this
is
is the
going
moment
on?
I have grown.
What is going on?
I mean, that felt good. And
Mm,
then the next thing I did was not to stop there, produce more and more and more and more of
mm.
that same style,
Yeah.
even though I retaining my original style. And within the space of like another about 4 weeks,
Mm.
from 12,000, I think I grew to about 30K. And I'm like, this is wild, amazing. I love
It
it.
is it is
But
wild.
I'm not going to lose myself in that instantaneous fame, right? I'm going to go back
Mm,
to the basics, what really made me start. And then I started
mm,
making this talking head videos where I'm with the microphone and I'm giving like, advice or just sharing things that I'm learning
mm.
and all of that. And while that was happening, I realized something that I was actually building more credibility with people. A lot of people were saying, wow, this is the first time I'm hearing your voice. Wow,
Mm,
you're putting yourself out there as an introvert. That means I can do
mm.
it too. I felt like now this is where I'm supposed to be. And I spent the next 1 year actively engaging that. But then one thing I
Wow.
realized was after 1 year, I started getting bored.
Like
Because
that's
there's this thing with us. We just want to keep reinventing things.
mm,
And
mm, mm,
earlier this year, I told myself that, you know what, I'm tired of this box checkers kind of Instagram feed. I'm going to change that and make it feel more lifelike, more
mm,
human. And then I
mhm.
changed that and I ditched the feeds that I was using for the past 3 years. And getting into this new one, it feels like, huh, what will people say, right? Wouldn't it look weird? And I was like, you know what? Grab that thought. At least start first. And then I started and I realized that my engagement started dropping terribly. Um, from about 30 million reach in a month, it dropped to about 4 million. And I'm like, okay,
That's
well,
wide and
yeah,
wild.
that's right. I mean, I lost about 7,000 followers within from December to January. I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So it means this thing is not appealing to everybody, but a couple of
Yeah.
persons is appealing to them. So focus on those persons. And a
Mm,
couple of nights ago, I was just trying to like think, and I was like, you know what? I'll start making content for those people, not everybody now, those people.
mm.
And I decided to just start. And then I made one introvert video, and things started picking up again. I'm like, okay. So I think I know the people I'm speaking to now, people like me,
Like
but
me.
also people who want to understand how to bring out that uniqueness in them. So let me go
Mm,
all out with these persons. Now, one thing I realize is that most of us we focus on the crowd and lose the OGs, the people who really value what you do. Some people will
mm.
come because of the numbers. Some people will come because
Right.
you now you're popular, you're known, or your work is
So
good, all
it's
of
cool
that.
to follow
But
you.
some persons, yes, but some persons are coming because this person is like me and I want to understand how they do the things they do. So I started sharing more of that. More like not like sharing vulnerabilities, but now sharing experiences that led me to where I am.
Mm,
And I'm seeing differences, right? I mean, this morning I posted a new kind of video that I've never done before, which is not planned, which is not scripted. It's just me ranting and just having fun. And it's not doing well, but I mean,
mm,
I'll continue doing that till I find my people who want to just hear the raw truth that is not filtered and just coming
mm.
straight out of my heart. So, um, moments like this, you feel like it's a setback, but it's not. It's actually you just finding the people that actually are your, how would I put it, your 1%.
You
If you can focus on that
yeah.
one, I really don't really care about the rest, right? I mean, if you're a Christian here, you know the idea of leave the 99 to chase the
To
one.
go
Chase
look for
that
the
one.
one. Hmm.
If you can find that one and that one accepts you, trust me, the 99 would eventually come on board.
So the made yeah, like you're speaking very precisely, and I love it. So
Mm.
as I can relate because I am also a creative, right? And I understand. So let me share something. So I did this. So with reels, you know how every creative now or every creator, I don't even know what's creative or creator, whichever.
Everything join, everything works.
So you know how we're all doing reels because reels are the in thing, and I mean Instagram said we should do reels. Reels we will do. So I tried
Hmm.
out something new, and I did a Yoruba voiceover of a new place I visited, and a lot of people loved it. Like it was good. I mean, I had over 10,000 views. I'm like, that's good. That's not my first video to have 10,000 views, but in a short period of time, it had 10,000 views. I'm like, I love it. This is good, but is this me? That's the first question I asked myself.
You can't keep doing that
This
because
is
it's just
good,
like
but is this
a
me?
branching out to explore something different.
I don't want to build
And
a brand around speaking, doing Yoruba voiceovers. I would get tired
exactly,
and
like
bored.
I also did want to build a brand around dancing Dimeji. So I was like, this is not, well, this is a part of me, but this
A
is not the
part.
me I
Mm-hmm,
want
mm-hmm.
to actually build something solid on. So imagine, say I was called to an event to come and I don't know, to come and dance and do
Mm.
funny. That wasn't going to make any sense. But
Like,
one thing I've realized is this: as a creative, as a content creator, whatever it is you are, you need to understand that all of these things happen in different aspects. You have entertainment, you have education, you have inspiration, motivation, you have I don't know, there are a lot of them. But then
yeah,
focus on a blend, which is, for me now, I do edutainment, which is education and
education and
entertainment.
entertainment.
I realize that teaching people a couple of things, but as I'm teaching them, there needs to be a spice of uh, letting off some steam, right? You spend the entire week working. I wouldn't be posting a video on Friday evening of this is how to make the best of your day of your week. No, that doesn't make any sense. I'll post something like relaxing. I'll probably like show you that I'm an introvert and anybody who sends me a message this weekend, I'm not going to respond. Things like that. And people will laugh, enjoy, and those are the videos that get the most views, right? But then the ones where I'm sharing things that can change people's
Mm.
lives, it gets very, very little. And
Yeah.
I'm saying this is very good. If that is happening for you that way, it is very good. You are nailing it because everybody wants to be entertained. So in
Mm-hmm.
the entertainment, a lot of persons respond to the entertainment because is evoking
It
emotions.
brings in the views and
Yeah. But
right.
then very few people will respond to the teachings, right? They are seeing it. They are not just responding. They're different. Because the way the platform works is the more you have people comment, the more you have people share, the more views it
The
gets,
more views it
right?
gets.
But then there's also a different side, which is I realize that most of my videos that have the highest saves are the ones where I'm talking and I'm sharing things people can try to their lives.
Mm.
The ones that get the most reshares are the funny ones. So right now, I prefer people to save these things and be able to go back to them over, sharing it over and over again. And that's what I really want. And I'm like, this is what I'm going to leverage. So in a week, I'm going to do about 7 to 8 different teachings and do like 3 to 4 different, letting off some steam.
I
Make a
think you just
balance.
nailed something now. I think you just nailed something. And I will just summarize it with what is your success metric? What is success to
Mm.
you? Is views success to you? Is reading 20 books in 1 month success to you? Is so for instance, you're talking about saves and shares, which is
Mm-hmm.
on the scale of on your priority scale, which is more important, the shares or the
I mean,
saves? What
it is
does
the
that
save.
say to you? Do you get the
So
saves
the
means
save, I
this guy
know
can
that
always
you
come
see it
back
as something valuable and you want to, keep it and come back to it.
and come back? Yeah.
Shares will just happen, it goes viral, people laugh,
Mm.
and that's the end of it.
Hmm.
So
I love it. I love it. So I think a quick question would be, how do you how do you stay at your core? how do you not lose your core? Because, and this is important, not for creatives alone, even as a student, right? And let me just say a quick example now. Everybody's going into tech. I'm not
Mhm.
saying like don't, go into tech, but it's a thing of my core in tech,
Right.
not losing my core because tech is the in thing,
Mm.
right? So, I mean, from everything you've said, you always had moments where you ask questions of, is this at my core? Who am I? At my very core, does this align? If I continue like
Mm.
this, will I over time leave, the me that I'm building? So what
Right.
brings you to that point of always coming back to your core? Because it's important. I mean, as in this age, this is the time where you make so many decisions, life decisions, what to study, what school to go, masters, your career, marriage. Congratulations, you got married in 2022.
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much.
So,
Uh, so
yeah, that's the
finding
question.
your core, right?
Mm,
Or staying with your core. So I'm a self-proclaimed multi-potentialite, which is I'm a jack of all trades. Um, but then there's something special about me. I'm a master of one,
mm,
and that one is not a career, is not a job, is not a style. I'm a master of my own thoughts and emotions, which
that's
means
so
no
good.
matter how much I'm exploring things, right, I understand who I am and where I'm going to. Now, understanding that anything I pick along the way is leading me
Mm,
to that core, not
mm,
necessarily I'm doing this thing so that I can master it and then become the best at it. No, I don't want to be the best at anything. I don't care about that. Because
mm,
the best at things today are working, as an employee in one big tech company.
mm.
And then the person who explored other like several different things is the owner of the company who doesn't even have a PhD or a master's. So I'm not saying you shouldn't go to school, though. Don't get me wrong. But all I'm saying is, look at every single person you consider as a jack of all trades
Mm.
that has existed. They are the people leading the industry. Elon Musk is the jack of all trades. He does everything. I mean,
Right.
um, Maya Angelou, Barack Obama, all these people were involved in a lot of things, but
Hmm.
then they focused on one, which is leading a life that is impactful and every other thing connects to it.
Hmm.
So, what do you need to master? Master yourself and the way you can explore opportunities, right? Don't think your life is dependent on one career or one job title. No, it's not.
Mm.
I mean, if tech is actually getting to a tipping point where there's nothing really special or fantastic anymore.
Hmm.
So what happens? Y- I
Just
mean,
like a
they're
deep
already laying
dive.
off. They are laying off a lot of persons in tech companies, which means you know that it is actually at the climax now. There's wala, and when you get so high, what happens? There's going to be a dip. So, but in that dip, something is happening. There's a rise of independent persons, creators, curators, whatever it you want to call yourself, people who stand by themselves. But then you can't do this if you've not mastered yourself. So
Mm.
when I post a video, for example, and it goes viral and it's getting like 20 million views, it doesn't shake me. I mean, I'm excited, but it
Yeah,
doesn't shake
like,
me
oh, I did
because
it.
my
Good
core
job.
is to be able to find out why did these things succeed and what is the
Mm.
best way to apply the things you learned into other things going forward. And that was one of the things I think I've mastered in my own life. So I'm a jack of all trades. I do everything, anything you even for that matter. But then I'm a master of my own thoughts and emotions, right? If
I love it.
that thing comes and it feels like is too good to be true, I know one thing for sure, and is that I've not even done anything about it. That's why it sounds too good to be true. If I put myself, if I give myself time, I'm going to explore and get the best out of it. So master
Mm.
yourself, master your emotions, master your feelings. I mean, basically become the person that you would always want to look at and say, this person can do it. Now, there was this thing that I had when I was growing up. I think I was 7 years old. My dad and I were driving through Cocoa House, And I remember sticking my head out of the car window,
I
and I
think
was
I've
like,
heard you say this
I'm
before.
going to
I
do
love
something
it.
like this one of
Yeah.
these days, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to build something like this one of these days. And that was what fueled my interest in
Architectural
architecture.
drive.
But
Hmm.
then when I got to the tipping point of architecture, I realized that, okay,
Hmm.
a, what was really special about Cocoa House is not the architecture,
Hmm.
if I'm being honest, we was seeing today. So, Dim, what are you supposed to do? Find a way to build ideas that shapes the world, not just buildings. I mean, buildings are nice. One thing you admire about Cocoa House is, oh wow, tallest building in Africa. It was an idea somebody had that let's do something that goes this high, and they were able to
Hmm.
achieve it. So, what do I need to do now is to be able to build my ideas, and execution will be very easy once the ideas are built and well laid out. The execution will be great. And then people, so it is the idea that gives birth to that thing you're seeing today. So why not just focus on the idea? So while I was in that phase, I was like, you know what? While I'm exploring and I'm doing all of this and I'm doing, I'm not going to get stuck with trying to make things perfect. Perfectionism can be a death to a lot of people. It was a death to
It
me for a
is.
number of years.
It
But then
is.
it's not going to be perfect before I put it out. The new thing I'm trying recently with my content, I tried it like some 3 days ago, and I kept going over and over and over again about it. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'm spending too much time on this thing. Just push it out there. See,
Yeah.
don't be the one to decide whether people like it or not. Your job is
Yeah.
just to put it out there. Let them decide whatever it is they want. Over time, one thing I
Hmm.
realize is this: influential people or people who make a difference in this life, they don't listen to what everybody is saying. They first listen to what their mind is telling them. They push it out there, and then now start gathering feedback to
They,
improve on that thing.
that, wow, so
Not
good.
like, yeah, I mean, imagine if ChatGPT had said, we're going to first wait, let people give us ideas. Would you want to have an application that helps you do this and that? People
Mm.
will say no because they will feel like, this
They
will
don't need
replace
it.
us, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they push it out there and they gathered feedback and now they made it perfect and now it's one of the biggest things in this life. So it doesn't have to be all that. Just start with the very basics, right? Step by step. Remember, you learn by doing. There's
I
this
love it.
80-20% rule, which is
Yeah.
learn 20%, practice 80%.
Mm.
It goes deeper because the more you consume, the less you create. For any creator on this platform right now, the more you consume,
So
the
good.
less you create. If you
Sorry, I'm
spend
so excited, but
80%,
yes.
if you spend 80% of your time scrolling through Instagram Reels,
Mm.
let me tell you what's going to happen to you. You're going to end up recreating other people, not really creating something that is unique to you.
Yeah. Wow.
So what should you do instead? Focus on the people who are like leading the industry and look at how they are setting trends
Mm.
and then
Mm.
learn from what they're doing and then bring about your own bit. I'm not the first person who started talking head videos, right? But then
Mm.
I think in Nigeria, I'm one of the people who made it into something that every other person is now doing, right?
Mm.
I mean, I've been doing it since 2019, but it wasn't a big deal. It
A
wasn't,
big
nobody
deal.
knew about it. It was just like, oh, yeah. But then right now, everybody's doing it. Even the small microphone
Yeah.
ones. You just hold small
Yes.
microphone and be talking.
Yes.
Everybody's doing it. Why? Because now it was one person's idea. A
Mm.
couple of persons got on it early, and the same thing happened to carousels then. A couple of persons got on it early. So I realized that this is one thing especially about me. I always get on things early enough to be able to master it and then become like part of the few set of people who started it
Yeah.
first. I
Because
wasn't
there's
the
the
one who
first
started
commerce
anything.
advantage. Mm-hmm.
And aside the first commerce advantage, the frequency to which you or the consistency at it. Now, this is one thing I want to share with you about consistency, right? It's not about frequency. It's about finding a rhythm that feels okay with you.
Mm.
Because the image is posting 3 times a day, please don't do it. Oh, don't do it. Right? What you should probably try is
Mm.
whatever you start with, just make sure that at least every 2 weeks you're improving on it. over time you're going to figure out exactly where you should be. But then by the time you're figuring out exactly where you should be, the industry has changed, the market has changed, something has gone
Yes.
differently in the old. So that
Mm-hmm.
means you can't afford to spend too much time on one idea
Trying to figure,
thinking you
yeah.
want to perfect it, right? Just move with, see, I'm not saying move with the crowd, but then understand the times and the trends, but then still have your own root and your foundation. Not everything should define you, but at the same
Yeah.
time, let there be progression in the sense that as people are changing, as people are saying Instagram is the new thing, can you still create carousels that people would always want to still listen to and read?
Hmm. Hmm.
So don't just switch, don't just transition. Still
Hmm.
use everything possible. Sorry, use everything that has been provided, and this applies to every other thing in life too, because everybody's getting into tech today. What happens to people who are redefining agriculture using tech? What happens to people who are redefining healthcare using tech? What happens to people who are
Hmm.
redefining the creator economy using tech? I feel like I'm going to be one. I want to be one of the pioneers of this new creator economy where independent creators understand the value that they carry. Without them, right, content will not be possible.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
if you're on this platform right now, if nobody's creating YouTube videos, if nobody is creating, all of these vlogs and the rest, we're
Google
not
will
going to
have
have a
nowhere to
creator
put their
economy.
ads.
Exactly. So you actually have so much, but then you feel like until you get into tech or until you get into this place or into that place, no, you can start by yourself and then enter these places. And I've always had this idea that, oh, time. I've always had this idea that I don't think people should really be too focused on wanting to work with people. Like,
Hmm.
somebody should call me or like I want to like by fire I must work with this person. What if you decide to build yourself and your own thing to
Hmm.
the point where they recognize you and then they call you for collaboration or for partnerships?
Because you also bring
Now,
value to the table.
yeah. Now it might take a number of years, right? I mean, I mentioned of how I started in 2019 actively with content creation and this digital lifestyle thing. And for 2 years, I was just doing my own thing, creating a name for myself, if I would call it that. But basically, I was just sharing my experience and my stories to a point where people are now recognizing that okay, this guy is actually a voice we should listen to. And then I
Hmm.
started sitting with the so-called big guys in the space that I admired when I was starting.
Hmm.
So you can actually go all out by yourself. But then let me just chip in this bit. Now, for you who you sort of see that it might be hard for you to make ends meet because I don't want to separate being a creative and making money. They go together, actually. So you're still in this game, you're trying to like fend for yourself, make ends meet, put food on the table, and all of these things, right? In your starting years, please don't be so focused on going all out by yourself.
Hmm.
If it is to get a 9 to 5 or something that pays you frequently on a monthly basis, find that
Sustainably.
while exploring. Yeah. So that in this creative life, you might not get, you might not earn anything like 2, 3 months. How do you survive? So let there be a balance. But then,
Yeah.
if you feel like you're getting to the place where you want to go all out, um, maybe take the next 6 months to really plan it,
Hmm.
save up, put money together, make connections. Reach out to people who have been there before you, and just make sure that you're ready. Because the moment you leave, trust me, there's no going back.
Hmm.
There's no going back. Because if you decide to go back, you'll be frustrated by the kind of lifestyle that is in that space because you've
Hmm.
experienced some sort of freedom and
Yes,
being able to
yes.
do the
And
things, this independence. So there's no going back. So that means before you even venture into it, please plan it
be
really well.
sure.
Your job that
Hmm.
you currently have, don't quit. Save up for like 6 months and be sure. And then when you eventually go ahead and quit, um, it's like run before fly before you run. I don't know if that makes any sense, but fly before you run. Like
Hmm.
go into the future and start
Way
making all those
ahead.
connections because you know that I'm going to get to a point where these people are going to be the ones that I'm going to leverage to sort of build this thing I need, or these
Hmm.
skills, this that is going to what I'm going to use. And for me, my flying period for content creation and Instagram Reels and all the rest was in 2020 when I was making TikToks every day for 100 days, and I did not share
Hmm.
with anybody. All I was doing
Wow.
was learning how to make short form videos in a consistent manner that I can create a video in less than 20 minutes and it will be a bang. I'm like,
That
okay.
takes a lot.
After doing that for 100 days, I just picked all of those videos from January 2020 to August when I released Reels. That was when I started posting all those videos again. And people were like, wow,
Wow.
nice, this, that. All because I was able to fly by
Hmm.
learning a new skill, mastering
Fly
video
before you
editing
run.
and
I love
content
it.
creation. So fly before you run. It will really take you far. And this is just you finding a way to like build things in the future. So
Wow. Okay. So let me just say this before I go ahead to say like a summary, right? To get the best of 20s Hangouts, you'd have to listen a minimum of 2 times. No jokes. I'm not kidding you.
hmm,
Last year, 20s Hangout, I still listened to it yesterday night. No jokes. In fact, into today, the midnight. And I listened to some things that I myself, I'm like, what? What? It's
I
it's
mean,
so good.
I still
See,
go back to
repetition is
my old
powerful.
YouTube videos and watch them again.
Repetition is powerful. Doing it once, saying it once, listening once, reading once never gets the job done. Never. Okay? So
Yeah.
let me just say that out there. You would have to come back to this video. That's why we leave the replay. Because why would I remove the replay from YouTube? Why? What do I want to be using it for? Only me. So the replay is going to be on YouTube. You can always come back here to watch it. So let me just say some things that were like a light bulb moment for me. One is that failures are a good part of the story, right? You said that at the beginning, and
Yeah.
I think it was so beautiful. Failures are a good back part of the story. And one thing I heard from everything you were saying is the power of compounding effects. And let me say the compounding effect. These things have been compounding since 2015, 16, 17. What happened to you in 2020? 2020 didn't just start in 2020. It has been compounding for years. So whatever it is you're doing now, maybe you're creating or you're learning, picking up a skill, learning something. Listen, that 1 hour you spent reading or that course you bought is not a waste. It's compounding,
Hmm,
right? That
yeah.
webinar you paid for, that the 2 hours you stayed on YouTube, the time you are here now, it is not a waste. It is a compounding, it's like a snowball. Do you get? It keeps rolling, and the more
Yeah.
it rolls, the bigger it becomes. You get? So I heard it so much. It was like an underlying lesson from everything you were saying, compounding effect. And when he said master yourself, I think it was very beautiful, very very beautiful. Of course, there are like 2021 questions in my head, but I'm going to leave you to go at this point because it was such a beautiful conversation. Do you know we've been talking for over 45 minutes? Do you know?
Yeah.
You didn't feel like it. I love it.
Interesting.
I love it. I
It
love
didn't
it.
feel
Same
like
to
it at all.
you. It didn't feel like it. If I did not check the time, I probably not know. Or if I didn't hear the timer. Like, okay, 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 okay. So I'm going to leave you to go stay in the studio because we're still going to have questions after Timmy Harris's session, right? Okay. So I think I want
All
to
right.
say something now and say that for everyone that is here, I celebrate you because not everyone your age will sit down on YouTube listening for 1 hour. With not a lot of people have that strength. It is strength, in case you don't know, it is strength to be on a webinar, to be in a class, to be and have your attention for 30 minutes, for 5 minutes, an hour. It is a strength. Don't lose it. I celebrate you. You are investing in your future, sitting down here, being here, watching, concentrating, watching the replay, and dedicating 2 hours of yourself to your future self. It is I celebrate you for doing that. And obviously this is, I talked about the compounding effect just now. It is not a waste. Okay, yes. So I'm going to let Dimeji go now. So he will go and drink water and rest, and have a coffee break, a tea break before our questions. Right? Thank you so much for having
Awesome.
this conversation with me.
All right. See you guys in the.
Okay, so we are going to go on a short break. We're going to go on a short break. I'm already seeing some questions. Drop your questions in the comment section. I am going to fetch the questions out when we're ready, Yes. So we're going to go on a short break. And after the break, we would be back and would have Timmy Awisi's session after the break. See you guys.
So you hear again, lies tucked in your bowels, unashamed to tell again. I will listen to you like I have all my life, but first let me tell you a story. I was 5 years old, innocent and hopeful, unsuspecting and trusting, sitting on my father's lap in the little space he could afford for a home when you came on the TV. The glitter of your starched agbada was a beauty to behold, or maybe it just presented hope to my little mind, I don't know. The smile on your face tickled my lungs, and from it came forth an air of relief, cold as snow. You looked at me and said, "You are the leader of tomorrow." My young mind was excited. How did you know me? What made you think me so special? How did you know my future so well? Maybe a god you are, so it was no surprise when I made you my idol. I am the leader of tomorrow. And those words dug deep into the soil of my heart. The ponderings of my young mind began to water it. Remember, I was 5. I was too excited to look back at my father in the little room we called home to ask, when was my father's yesterday? Was he not told he is the leader of tomorrow? Why did his tomorrow not come? I didn't ask for joy of what I had heard, or maybe I was just too young. Just in the middle of that excitement, power went out, and again NEPA had done it. And with power gone, I didn't listen to the rest of what you had to say, but in the darkness of our small room, I traveled at the speed of light into tomorrow. It was beautiful. A decade later, returning from school, having walked miles on foot across untarred roads, I flung my bag on the floor of the same small room from 10 years ago and turned on the TV, and there you were again. It was you. I remember. How could I forget? Your words have lived with me since that day. I remember your starched agbada, a different color this time, but I remember. Again, you told me, "You are the leader of tomorrow." The joy, the hope, the spur. I knew you were campaigning, but what did I care when you gave me hope of tomorrow? I saw the picture like I did 10 years before. It was beautiful. I am the leader of tomorrow. 15 years after that, I am now a graduate. How could I not be? I ran with the picture you painted and struggled through school. I studied on empty stomach and trekked the length and breadth of the campus with hope. It was still cool. Here I am, 30 years old, in a small room apartment like my dad from many years ago. Only difference being that I have a small generator. How else could I survive when power only got worse over the years with all your promises? The best you did was Shabbily Christian NEPA twice. NEPA, PACN. See, the gen still sure pass. I put on my TV, there you are again, old, but this time on jean and t-shirt as if that was an anti-aging armor. You were campaigning again, your voice losing its compelling force and your skin its glitter from 30 years ago. I can now see the lie. Unashamed, you looked at me again and said, "You are the leader of tomorrow." So now I ask you, when is tomorrow? I watch the Naira climb down the slope like a drunkard, drunk on lies and empty promises. I travel in fear, and when I stay at home, my heart is on its knees, praying to God still for safety. I am educated but not recognized, hardworking but starving. Feeding well has become a luxury, so let me not talk about living well. So when is tomorrow? Is today the tomorrow you talked about yesterday? Cause yesterday was even better than today. So I ask you, when is tomorrow? How will tomorrow come when you septuagenarians cling on to it from the past? Or will it come when, like my father, I am old and I hold my own son on my lap in a small apartment watching TV, and then the cycle goes again? You told me I am the leader of tomorrow, but you didn't tell me when that tomorrow is. And now I know why you didn't tell, because only I could really determine that tomorrow. And so looking at you today, I say to you, thank you for your service, but tomorrow starts today. Today I hold the future of yesterday in my hand and wield it with all determination. I cannot ask you to pay for the lies of the past or hold you responsible for the things you didn't provide. So all I ask is a chance to tell my sons the truth and to thus provide. You said I am the leader of tomorrow. Tomorrow is today. Now I will lead. So 60, 70, 80. Allow me give my 100. You can retire and rest while I work with zest for the leaders of tomorrow. For my own tomorrow is today.
Wow. If you listened well, you listened to the words, how did that make you feel? I want you, like just as last year, these breaks, as they're carefully selected, takes time to find these, to reach out to the copyright owners. It takes time, right? So how did that make you feel listening to it? And just in case you did not hear anything, let me tell you, only you determines tomorrow. Only you determines tomorrow. If you decide that your tomorrow starts now, it does. If you decide that your tomorrow starts when you're 30, that's fine. If you decide that your tomorrow starts when you get married, are in your 30s or when you retire, that's fine. And just in case you have decided that your tomorrow started yesterday, because there's also that. Just in case you decided that your tomorrow started yesterday, it's all yours. Tomorrow starts when you decide. He said tomorrow starts today, but I said tomorrow starts when you decide. Only you determines tomorrow. I hope you really enjoyed that. And I hope, apart from enjoying it, you listened with your heart, right? Okay, so take a moment to celebrate yourself in the chat. You have been here. Good time learning, investing in yourself, being a better body. Because as a body, let me tell you, it's a body that is doing well that we'll associate with. Of course, we love everybody, but let's not lie. Actually, it's a body that is smashing their goals, doing well, of course, at different levels that we're going to be proud of. I'm proud of each and every one of you. I celebrate you. So go ahead and celebrate yourself in the comments for being here, for paying attention, for investing in yourself and your future. Go ahead. I want to see you clapping, the emojis, the fires. I want to see them in the chat. Go ahead and celebrate yourself. Go ahead and celebrate yourself. I want to say, okay, while we're waiting for that, I would quickly, ask if Timi Awisu is ready for us, and also go ahead to introduce him, right? So I'm waiting. I want you to celebrate yourself. You deserve it, right? You have been awesome. So I gave that moment. So you can, take a look at Timi Awisu's bio. I would read his bio a bit. A bit. So Timi is a goal-oriented, vision-driven, and purpose-minded individual. He's a certified project manager, an experienced procurement analyst, and with Value Plus Corporations as creative advisor, managing partner. He is presently human resource manager at Bitnob Technologies International, a fast-growing fintech startup. He is a first-class graduate in applied physics from the prestigious Lautech Ogbomoso. He currently mentors young students in secondary and tertiary institutions towards academic excellence through the platform Academic Mentoring Class so they can replicate his results. He is the author of New Awesome and Gracious Students Book Guide to attain to attaining excellence, academic excellence demystified. He's a podcaster of the outstanding podcast Building Men Thoroughly, a medium with which he extends his passion to see young boys and men maximize their life. He's also the lead coach at Finis Pro Coaching Insights and strategy execution lead at Organized Living. He is a patriotic Nigerian who believes Nigeria and its citizens will achieve her destiny in this century. With some standing ovations, some backflips, you know, and a round of applause. Welcome, make welcome the one and only. Okay, I'm not saying the standing ovations. I'm not seeing the claps. Of course, I'm going to wait till I see them because it's not coming up here if I don't see them. It's Timmy Awesu, so it's not coming up here if I don't see them. Guys, welcome Timmy Awesu in the comment section. Until you welcome him appropriately, he's not coming up. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the claps, the fire, the backflips, everything. Fast, 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 fast. Let's welcome him. Okay. I'm seeing Uncle Timmy's face. You know, I don't call him Uncle Timmy. Just of course, you know, you people know that I'm going to brag. Okay. So it's Timmy Awesu to you, is Uncle T to me, is my Uncle T. Whatever you want to do. Is my Uncle T. Why? Because that's what it is. I don't know how to explain it. That's what it is. Okay, I'm seeing the fires. Oh, obviously you have fans. You have fans. So let me just bring you up in 3, 2, and 1.
Hey
so
guys,
excited to have you. Oh,
can you hear me?
loud and clear.
Good stuff. Hi guys, good to be
Excited
here.
to have you.
You're looking good though, Lami.
Hey, come on.
Hank.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yep. Yeah, how's it
Wow.
been? I enjoyed my brother's session. It was good stuff, good thoughts.
I
Was
mean,
good learning from
premium.
you.
I
It's
love
good,
it.
good stuff.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Thank you. Uncle T,
Yeah.
it's good to see you. It's good to
Yeah,
see
guys.
you. I don't think I've seen your face on video this year. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
What I'm
I
saying
mean,
is to see you.
I've been, something happened in December, so I've
Yeah.
been
So in case
chilling.
you don't
I didn't put
know,
my
Uncle
face
T got
everywhere.
married. Hey.
So, I
You
I
guys,
just
let
got
me
the
let me
feeling
explain
of
to you
January,
why.
that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
let me explain to you why I'm this hyped and I'm this excited in this session because, like I said, he's my Uncle T. He's my teacher. I can say he's my coach because I would have done some very not so wise things if not for him. So I'm excited every time I have a conversation with him. It's like I don't have the word. When I find the word, I will let you guys know, but I don't have the word. Every conversation with him is I don't take your time for granted. I don't take your guidance for granted. Every time you've ever had to be on a call with me, a clarity session, chat with me, ask me those questions that just disrupt everything I'm thinking. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know if I've had the opportunity to publicly thank you. I'm doing this like thank you for investing in me. I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here this year. You were here last year too.
Yeah,
And
who knows?
amazing session. See
Who
now, see
knows,
your
right?
fans. Let me show you. Let me
Ah,
show you. Let me
Maggie,
show
Larry.
you. See your fans now. See your
Hey,
fans.
Tammy.
Okay, so see, let's go. We're going to be having an amazing conversation, and I cannot wait. Okay, so shoot.
All right, guys. I'm excited to be here. It's Timmy Aweso again, and yeah, life is quick. Before you know it, the whole 20 decade is gone. Like, you know, soon I'll be exiting this 2018. It's paining me small, but it's been a life worth living. Right. Yeah, it's been exciting, really. It's been exciting. So I'm going to share from my heart, and I am going to do it in a way that you would resonate with me, right? Over the years, I've learned. So one of my keys in life is starting things early. The ability to be able to that like call it grace or capacity to be able to get some things really early, has really helped. So in the few minutes we have together, I hope that I'm able to speak to your heart. I hope that I'm able to meet your deep desired needs. That especially for this particular point in time, it's going to be a conversation, just like the topic says. It says it's conversations and counsels to set 2023 on course. As much as it's going to be like that, it's also going to be a time for to unlock the things for the coming months. Just like I put when I was sharing this on my community, I said, time is our tool. The wise know how to bend it and use it, via wisdom, counsel, and creative living. So it's my intent that at the end of, I don't know if it's 30 or 40 minutes I have that we'll have this conversation, that you have absolute clarity. You are not just motivated. You know what to do. You are impacted. You are clear. It's definite. Like, this is exactly where I'm going to. And every blocker that has, you've been having from the beginning of the year, till now, would just in the moment as we, have this conversation. I quickly just tried to put my thoughts into slides. So let me see if it's going to allow me share. Okay, let me see. Should
I do that from here?
Okay, yes, I kind of uploaded it. I think it will help. So I'll just flow it up. I've uploaded it for you. So yeah, 20 Hangout 2023. Notice the exclamation mark behind it. I'm excited. That's why I put the exclamation mark behind it. All right. So let's move on. I decided to capture my thoughts. Let's go to the next one, Nami. I decided to capture my thoughts for this 2023 20s Hangouts in, will I call it one word or acronym? So I don't know if you can see this wherever you are.
If you can see the slides, let's see
just
in the comment section if you can. Just say, I can.
So by the time you are leaving here today, I want you to remember this: live now. You can write it out in the chat. Live now. So I'm not going to be too structured because it's a conversation. I will be telling stories in between. I will be giving analogies and all of that. So feel free to stop me anytime, anywhere. It's not a lecture. It's not a desert report or it's not a PhD paper. It's a conversation. We do not kill anybody. We just want to become our best in life. So, yep. So, leap now. So, leap now is what I capture everything I would like you to remember today. So, even if you don't remember anything from this year, just remember leap now. Leap now. All right. So, what does leap now mean? What did I come up with? What came to my heart? All right, let's go to the next. Leap now. What does the L in leap now stands for my thought process? Number one there for leap now, that's the L, is live from the heart. I'm going to explain what that means. Live from the heart. You can write it out in the chat just in case. Live from the heart. So there is a concept that I grew in my 20s. Of course, I'm saying my 20s, late one, very, very late actually, that I found out. That is living from the heart. It means the capacity to create life from within. And if you are too Nigerian in your thinking and paradigm, you would be more susceptible to a survival mentality. So living from the heart would be new to you. So living from the heart is a posture where you are in that place where your needs are met, in quotes, and you are not the fundamental things that make you the food, the security, all of those things. You are not bothered, in quote, about those things, such that you are in a level of rest that you can think about much more creative things in life. In living from the heart, you are not boxed up by what is happening in your surroundings. You literally are coming from, the eternalness, meaning that the things that are in your heart, the river of ideas, the river of possibilities, the river of, some people call it the fourth dimension, the river of where there is a place of power, like there's a place of possibility. Because if you live from the now, there is a lot of blocker. There's so many things to keep your face, to make you discouraged. That is why I don't invest so much time listening to the news, right? Because the news is always about what is happening now, what is bad now, what is this now. And, because of that information, there's a way it clouds the purity of your heart. So living from the heart means that you are able to close out the noise, close out the, in quotes, the reality of the now, because it's actually not a reality. You see, everything that is happening right now, all of 2022, came out from somebody's heart. So, but when you learn how not to live from a reactive, living from the now is reactive, while living from your heart is proactive, meaning that you are able to create your reality from your heart, like the first creation. If you understand this, it helps you greatly in your creativity, in your life, in you creating what happens. So you are now in the category of the top 10% or top 5% of the world. And what they do is that they are not, you see them, they are the people who create what happens in life. The other 90 or 80% are just reacting to it. And when I watched this movie that was trending on Netflix, Far From Home, there was a scene there that when we were watching it, I said, babe, I told my wife, babe, look at this thing. This is somebody, when something happened in the school and they wanted to look for a way to distract the students, you could see the owner of the school and his wife and the daughter sitting down on their dining table having food and creating a reality for the people. So they just cooked up an event and said, in order for us to distract them from this and this, let us do this and this. And they just put it together and they initiated the idea. You would think that it's something that they have been, trying to do for a while, but no. Because they understand how to live from the heart. They are creating realities. So they are not waiting for the government. They are not waiting for their parents. They are not waiting for what people would think or say. They are engaging their heart to say, okay, I want to be this. Let us make this. They are creating realities. I call it creative living. I so much like creative living because you are able to map out what is in your mind. And in 2023, one of the counsels I want you to go into is, regardless of the coordinates of your life or the things that are happening to you that are real right now, you can create life from your heart. It is in the makeup, your makeup as man. And man, when I mean man here, I mean male man and female man, to create that reality. So forget what is happening in Nigeria. Forget all those things. People created that reality. So in 2023, how many or how much reality are you going to create? That is why I respect content creators. Content creators, a research shows that about 33%, or less than 30%, 30 to 33% of people are the ones that create content. The remaining 70-something% of people are consumers. And it is those 70-something% that keep consuming and consuming and consuming. But here you have content creators determine the realities of what people watch, people see, and all of that. So, and you can use this concept to create any and everything. So create life from your heart. Don't just respond to what is happening around you. Gather data from what is happening around you, but let it not be the principal way you are living. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. The E for leap now is execute ruthlessly. In your 20s, it is very possible to think that you have all the time. Yep. It's very possible to think that you have all the time. I believe that you have time. At the same time, I believe that the 20s time for you to make as much mistake as you can make. Make as much mistake as you can make. That's why you want to execute. You want to execute. Do you have goals for last year? Do you have things that you've always wanted to do? That's why I think I heard Dimeji say, some things, and I was like, did this guy see my slides already? Did he? How is he saying some of it? You see, when I shared it, because when I shared this slide, you were like, oh, did we meet together talk? It was literally picking up concepts from, because I was listening closely to him, right? This is a here to execute ruthlessly, and I'm not motivating you. I am telling you the principles that when you are 70, 100, you would thank God that you did it, right? Although, see, there's nothing as painful as you having 50 years fly by you and wish you had done something. You would not even know whether it failed or not. The pain of I didn't do this
not
thing.
knowing
So
at all.
you don't even have, you don't know whether the thing would have succeeded. You don't know whether the thing would have failed. But the fear of failure and procrastination and all the other things can, choke you. This is a time to execute ruthlessly. This is a time to, that's why, Dimeji said it in a way. He said, I'm rolling more with doers. I don't know if you got that.
Yes,
yeah,
I did.
I'm rolling more with doers. So, for example, I used to teach people, instead of sharing your relationship, sharing for 3 years, just marry now. Just marry.
Catch yourself, all of you. Just catch yourself.
All these, you are just telling us she's fine. You're uploading. For 3 years, bros. Just marry. Do.
I mean,
you understand? So rolling more with the doers is the same with executing ruthlessly. So don't do too much thinking for too long and planning without executing. Execute, execution is not just action. Execution is action with purpose. Execution is action with direction. Execution is action with accountability. Execution is action with drive. You know, and you're not doing it because anybody is pursuing you. You are doing it because you know that time is given to you as a tool. And one of the things we do with time is convert time. See, there is nothing you need and have in life that you would want in life right now that you will not have to exchange with time. I want you to remember that there is nothing you need or you would want in life in your 20s and even after now that you would not do by exchanging time. Those things will not just come. It will take time to read the book. It will take time to create the content. It will take time to, revamp. So if you understand that time is the tool for conversion, you would maximize time better. So you will not just say, I didn't do this thing. I'm feeling bad. I don't know where to start. It's time to take little steps. It's time to start small. It's time to execute. Look at the word, ruthlessly. The word ruthlessly is very specific. It was on purpose. Ruthlessness means that you are not going to be distracted. Ruthlessness means that it's not talking perfection. It's just saying that you are going to take yourself accountable. You are going to execute. So look at last 5 years. Look at when you finished. Look at all the things you currently do. How much of the things that you wanted to execute in your 20s have you tried to execute? It's very important that you execute, right? Even my coach will always say that, yes, you have look at life from a long-term perspective, like 20 years, 10 years. That is a beautiful concept. At the same time, you want to execute now. You want to look at what you can do now and execute. All right, so let me quickly run to the next one for the lead. That's LE, and I have an A. This means, the A here means audit your biases and paradigms. So for people who don't like big Oyinbo, what does audit your biases and paradigm mean? It means that a good counsel for 2023 is to be able to look back and query your biases. So psychological research shows that every one of us, there are two things that affect us that would never allow us to go to our next places. Every human being has this. Number one is our personal ego, and number two are our biases. Personal ego and our biases. So if you are able to make sure that you kill your ego by taking strengths from people, like other people, and you are able to query your biases and embrace new thoughts, the potential for you scaling is high, high, high. What does audit your biases and your paradigms mean? It means that you want to sit down this year and ask yourself, why are you thinking the way you are thinking? Why are you thinking about money this way? Why are you thinking that you are the only one not making progress? Are you really not making progress? Okay. Why are you thinking that all your friends are jackpotting or everybody in Nigeria is jackpotting? Is that really true? Are you auditing your bias? So, because if you don't audit your bias, you will make decisions based on that bias. And, from data, you can make wrong decisions because you have more biases than realities. So, audit your bias means check, why are you thinking the way you are thinking? Some people in their 20, they are 27, they are still thinking like children. Meaning that they are still in that stage where they don't see anything about life. So the song like Adulthood Na Scam would is on their playlist, right? So they'll keep repeating it, but they have not come to the reality that there is a bias laden in that song. Don't let me even start tearing the bias in the song itself. So audit your biases. Songs like that don't sell in some nations because in how they have groomed the kids in those nations, they have been able to make them know that, see, the future depends on you, and they've given them the things that are required for them to build the nation. Sorry for a case like Nigeria, just like the video you shared. I liked the video. It was imagine if the guy was already thinking the way he was thinking when he was 30 something. He was already thinking like that when he was 11. That he knew that he's not a leader tomorrow because somebody said it. He's a leader tomorrow because that is what he is. But it took him time, do you understand, to get there. But if that kind of person, if he had an opportunity to know what he knew 30 years ago when he was 11, do you think that his reality and what he's capable of doing will not be different or will not be better?
Absolutely. So, like, distance will be so wide.
So auditing our biases from time to time is powerful. You are querying your thoughts. Why are you thinking? Why do I have this result? Why does Dimeji have 30,000 or followers, and why don't I have? What is it doing? Not like, small boy like you. What are you doing? What's it doing I cannot do? You're beefing. You're not odd. There's a bias. There's a bias. So the moment you are able, for example, entitlement mentality is another bias. I'm looking at that thing. I say thank you. The future depends on you. The entitlement we have in our 20s will lead us nowhere. Thank you for that, Sholakwe. That's true. Entitlement mentality is another problem, another bias that you have to deal with. There are many biases that come from our environment, that come from the ignorances we all grew up with.
And our nurture.
Yes, our nurture, right? Those are biases. There's also a bias that comes from the fact that we are born in a third world nation. For those who are listening to it from Nigeria, there's a problem because there's a natural problem being born in Nigeria. There's a bias already about it, and it is everywhere. So if you are not querying that bias from time to time because of how you grew, and don't tell me you don't have these biases, because some of them are deep-seated. Some of them you don't know that they are there. You have just been acting about. You have been acting it, but because critical thinking classes and trainings will tell you that you should do metacognition, meaning the ability to think about what you are thinking. So some of us do not know the reason why you are thinking the way you are thinking. Metacognition means think about why you are thinking and what you are thinking about. It literally means come out of yourself and look at your thoughts. That's what it means. Come out
and
of
that
yourself.
That takes a lot,
Oh, sure, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. There is no person who is dealing at the highest level and strata of society who do not audit their biases and paradigms constantly. Go and check it. That's why they are not bothered about the petrol issue. It's as though they are in another world.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
The world that they built.
The world that they built. Of course, money was part of the things they used to create that world. But I'm telling you something.
So good.
If you begin to think like this and act like this, sooner or later you would leave a category that some people call the masses. I'm sorry, I'm not part of the masses. I'm not part of the masses. I will never be part of the masses.
How?
I will never be part of those people. You have to begin to think like this, and before you know it, you are going to get out of that. Life rewards, high level thoughts. Life will reward that different thoughts. If you are thinking common sense, you would have common results. And the moment you begin to audit your thoughts, why am I thinking like this? For example, some people don't know that when they are in public spaces, there are things you cannot do, but they've never looked at themselves and said, oh, why am I thinking like this? But because they're not thinking, you remember what Dimeji said? Dimeji said he's a master of one. Oh, I was waiting to hear, what did he mean? Master of one. I'm among the rich, please. Master, then he said, I'm a master of myself and my thoughts. See, if you can master that, so if you can master that, seriously, when you're on the road, you will be seeing the folly of so many people. You will know why Nigeria is the way it is. So leap for the A there means, are you going to audit your bias? Are you going to audit your paradigms? This 2023 is something you want to keep doing. You have to query it, just like the developers in this place. You query database. They keep querying it. You query the database, right? Let's move on to P. The P in the leap is very straightforward. Meaning, pay attention to all important areas. I'm very big on balance.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I'm very big on having my cake and eating it. I just have it in my mind that I can have it.
I can have it all.
Do you understand? And it's not about being selfish. It's just a thinking that says that I can be serious and unserious at the same time. I don't want to be so serious
that I miss out.
I don't miss out of the fun of life because, for example, I'm always shouting goal setting. I'm always saying execute. But there's also the concept of living in the moment. Bros, enjoy your today. Enjoy yourself. As much as I teach, do goal setting, do 20 years, 50 years plan, do all of those things. You have to also enjoy the moment, enjoy the company. Do you understand? A few days ago, I was meeting my siblings. I was missing some of my siblings and, the fun because I've moved to my own apartment. And, I began to remember the time that I would just lock up myself inside the room. Because I'm creating content, I'm reading, I'm doing something like that. So from time to time, I'll go out of the room, go and play with them and all of that. Now, they are not close. And I'm not sure we're always going to be close in a very long time. So but if you have not been able to, deposit in this relationship, you will be a problem. So 2023 is a time to have the bird view perspective. Pay attention to all important areas. You want to be able to, the way a drone, I'm sure you've seen the video that a drone has. A drone has the ability to capture all sides of something. You have to have the drone view if there's anything like that. Meaning that the areas that are important to you, you want to have good oversight over them. Don't work so much that you lose the things that make you happy. I believe that you be an employee and be balling. I'm not in the school of thought that you are only entrepreneurs can ball. It's thinking. Yes. You just have to know how to. You can also, come to that place where you are creating content, you are doing things, and you're working for somebody. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And as you pick up the skills, you can start up your own things. In short, you can start up your own things while you're doing for the person. There's nothing wrong about that because there are some critical lessons of life that you will learn working under people.
Yeah, right. So, and they are mostly overlooked.
Yeah, sure. For example, you can never learn accountability alone. Because you can say, yes, I'm a very self-accountable person. No, you've not been when somebody gave you feedback that you did not like, scolded you and said things you don't like. You can't do that to yourself. No matter how melancholic
you love yourself too much.
Do you understand? Somebody will
and
give
the bias
you
of self.
Good. Thank you for bringing up the bias of self. So there are sometimes that even if you are self, you have your business and all of that, put yourself in a position where you serve people because you are serving your customer. So balance. Pay attention to your spirituals. Pay attention to your finance. This is not, in your 20s, it's not a time you want to say, see, let us just spend everything. When we are 30, we'll know how to manage money. You might not even have any money to manage by then.
Oh.
So pay attention to finance, how your finances are flowing. How much is coming in, how much is going out.
Yes,
Do you understand?
so
Even if
good.
your father is who is the richest man, Elon Musk, go and see. You know what? You know why I laugh at people when they disregard laws and principles. Go and look at the people you respect. They have people who make sure that the laws of order and the laws and principles that govern life, they have
Guided.
them already there. They are
Yes.
there. So, in as much as somebody like Elon Musk is very like this, he has people around him that help to put that his excess in check. That's the beauty about life. That's when your ego is not in the way. Who told him to begin to correct some of his decisions he made about Twitter? Jonathan, it's just of course, there's a him, there's his personality.
The multitude of counsel.
Do you
Right.
understand? So he begins to play on, because there's a video I would have loved everyone to watch here. It's by Ray Dilo. Maybe I'll share the video with Lami. It will help you to see what from a very advanced perspective. Do you understand? So when somebody else is speaking, for example, and you don't agree with them, you don't need to shut them down. You don't need to say this guy is saying rubbish. You don't need to say no. You don't need to shut down. Listen, weigh it, audit it, take what you can, and leave it. But you will find some very interesting way people react to things, especially on the social media age, right? And people are just talking anyhow online. Is this candidate? Is not his candidate? Why are you? Don't be like that. There is a way to think. There's an advanced level royalty think.
Yes.
So pay attention to all areas. This is not a time that you are not investing in relationship, because I think, was it Sholakwe or was it the other lady? I don't know who, because I watched the other
Ola Young
that was talking about relationship. You know, like brought last time.
Currency that buys anything. Yes.
Do you understand? So this is not a time that we're telling you that relationship is important. You know, you cannot talk to your babe anyhow. You cannot talk down on people. You should be developing. Like, you cannot not have a good, at least, relationship with your neighbor. Like, you should understand the relationship, the purpose of people in your life. Do you understand? I'm not that kind of person, or I don't believe in the thought that says that people in this place, there's no use for them. No, everybody has a purpose. You just need to find their line. You need to know their line. Your in-laws have purpose. Your great-grandparents, they have
you
purpose.
don't know it or you're not seeing it.
Do you understand? So you just need to know where they come in. And any day they want to pass their level, you say, see, oh, this is where you reach, oh, this is your purpose, don't pass this place. Oh. But everybody, every relationship has what they're supposed to bring. So this is 2023 are you going to pay attention to the areas? Some of us are not developing value. You think you will just stop getting paid 50,000. No, you won't just stop paying 50,000. Something needs to happen to you that would make sure that from 50K, you go to 10X, 500K. Do you know those things? Or you are still assuming? Are you still thinking like a Nigerian or an average Nigerian? Hope you know that. I think they did a research one time and they said that when they went to the different areas in Lagos, that the way the environment looked like was a pure reflection of how the people thought there. Wow. Yep. The way the environment looked like was the accumulative thoughts of the people living there. And I tried to observe. Go to some places in Lekki and BI, you will smell order. You will smell town excellence. Come down from Third Mainland Bridge and just enter Yanoworo. You will already see the way the people are thinking.
Wow. It is
right?
So good.
It's because of the corporate thought system of the people in that area. There's a way the drivers talk. There's a way the police on the island act compared to the way the ones on the mainland
themselves.
Do you understand? There's a way, why do you think, for example, when you lose things in Nigeria, people don't want to give it back to you? Like a heavy 90% of people don't want to give it back to you. It's the environment. The environment is hungry. The environment is harsh. Everybody just is looking for what to take. But you go to some countries, the thing is like 60%. When you lose your things, people are ready to give you back because there's a system there's a heavy thought process around things like this is not for me now. Like I have like 10 of this in my house. I don't need it. But in Nigeria, drop your phone now and come back. You will not see it. Why? Corporate thought. And you can be different. You can start thinking differently. So pay attention to important areas. This is a time to pay attention to your personal development. Personal development. Whatever, if you decide to take a new turn in whatever area you want to, this is a time to ask yourself. That's why it must be bed view. You can't take one and say, okay, I'm only going to be serious with career, God, and money. So what will happen to
every
your
other
relationship?
thing can go and sleep.
What will happen to your, and when I say relationship, don't only think only marriage, Joe. Relationship is very, very big, right? What happened to relationship? What will happen to the people you are supposed to give back to? What will happen to people that you are supposed to invest in? Are you waiting for when you have 1 billion before you begin to invest your time in some person there who just needs the right word from you, who just needs the right follow-up from you? Oh, you don't know that you have so many things to to pour out to the world as you grow. What about your health? What about health? This is a time to look at all areas. Don't cherry pick. Don't cherry pick. By the end of the year, you should look at and say, okay, in personal development, in health, in my mental development, in connections, what new connections did I make? It can't always be about your career. I'm a workaholic. I have met people who are workaholic. Oh, did I say I'm a workaholic? Okay, in the good sense.
Kinda.
In the good sense.
Kinda.
In the good sense. But I've met people who, in the good sense, they are bad workaholic. They are workaholic that don't have time for anything but work. They dream about work, see work. Yeah, there are people like that, right? But this is a time to have a level of, I don't want to use the word balance. Let's use the word harmony. Let there be a harmony.
Because it will be sweet for the ears. Even people that speak from outside, they're gonna feel. Sorry.
Yes, let's not use the word balance. Let's use the word harmony. Let there be a harmony in your life. Because you see, you are a man, and man is a holistic being. You are not just a work person. You are a holistic being. There is more to just get work. Make it work, or more to you than church. Some people in this church, only church, like they have a church bias. Only church. Thank you, everything they are saying, their frame of reference is church. Everything. They see politics through church. They see money through church. They see friendship through church. That's why the book, one book like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the introduction phase for me was the boom. Because once you are able to knock off all these biases, your friendship bias, family bias, you would see life from a very advanced view. I know somebody there is thinking, bro, Nigeria is hard. Nigeria is this. You just start thinking like this first. Sustain this level of thinking because there's a way you are. Harmony is critically important. Pay attention to all important areas to you. All right, moving on. I think I'm already done like 30 minutes. Let's do N. N, no comparison and no competition with others. Because one of the concepts of living from your heart is that your time is in your heart. I know there's a popular thing that your time is in God's hand. Your hand. Wait. Let's explain. Is your time really in God's hand?
No, God already gave you 24 hours. It's in your hands.
Good. I'm even talking about time with respect to the eventualities of our life.
Okay. The way some people see it as though there is a predetermined, of course, there's a predetermined destiny, which is good, right? There's also the one of whatever happens to me is a predetermined destiny.
I harvest both thoughts and I cut off the excesses. It's just like the phrase decision determines. Is it decision determining destiny or destiny determines decision? It's something that we usually debate on in some of my sessions. Is it that decision determines destination or destination determines destiny? Or is decision that determines destiny? So it's a conversation for another day.
A little bit.
Yes, a little bit of both. So because your time. Okay, remember, let's do like a seed. It's the seed principle. And if you are a good study I study God, right? God wants to be studied. The study of God is theology. That's what it means. If you have studied God, you will notice that God does things in principles. He does things in a way that makes it easy for you to know that there's a system in place. When he created trees, he created seed, right? In the seed of any fruits is the time of that fruit. It's the time of that fruit, right? So the reason why mango, I don't know how long it takes a mango tree to grow. The reason why mango takes that time to grow is not because its time is in God's hand. The time of the mango is inside itself.
Mm.
The time of the orange is inside himself. The time of the giant oak tree is inside itself. So when the seed is planted, it's not waiting for God. This doesn't mean you don't need God.
That is so good. God still reigns to help us grow.
Oh, sure. God is a person, so you relate to him as we are just cutting off a principle here. That if some people do not understand, they will keep waiting. I understand the principle of waiting. There's where it appears. But here I'm talking with respect to the things you are supposed to do. Your time is in you.
Wow.
That's why you live from your heart. So the reason why no comparison with others is because their time is in them and they are living it out. It doesn't make sense in this life to compare myself with my friend that is in the US doing his PhD. Like, because
I think we should take a moment and let it sink in. Like, just a moment of silence so that it's going to sink in. Like, I can't even sit down very well on my chair again. Like, just a moment. Your time is in you. So why comparison makes no sense?
Like, could make sense. Like, when I see people comparing themselves, I say, this is my friend, they are doing this. And then when I'm thinking, oh my God, don't you realize that? Don't you realize that your timing is in you? You're just supposed to work with God to be able to activate, like, continue till those kairos and, those moments, manifest. Why? There is no very... This helps you kill comparison. When you see anybody of your friends, your contemporaries doing fine, you just say it's fine. It's their time.
I'm also doing fine.
Mine is in me. I'm also doing fine.
According to my time.
According to my time. Imagine, okay, there's this story of the Chinese bamboo tree that for the first 5 years, you just keep planting. You put the seed inside the floor and you just keep watching it for the first 5 years. Nothing happened. Nobody's seen anything. How many things can grow in 5 years if you plant it? At least I know corn. Corn will have grown. You will have planted multiple corn. Too many. What other things grow in 1 year?
Pineapple.
Pineapple.
Tomatoes.
Do you understand? In 1 year, they are done. In 1 year, they are done. But the Chinese bamboo tree, first 5 years, nothing is happening. You're just watching it. So imagine that the Chinese bamboo tree is comparing itself with the corn. After the first 5 years, the Chinese bamboo tree starts to grow. And it grows so high, feet high into the sky. That's its own glory. And it becomes so strong. So it doesn't make sense for the Chinese bamboo tree, who is getting roots downwards, to compare itself with the multiple churning that the onion or the corn is manifesting. It doesn't make sense. So no, 2023, like, focus on your focus. Leave people, leave no competition. No, don't pepper them. No. Do your thing. Ginger them instead. Don't pepper them. Instead of peppering them, ginger them. You understand? Do your own thing as ginger, not pepper. No, you don't have time. Like, compared to what? Their own metric of success is not the same thing with you. So it makes sense. Like, I just feel these are thoughts that when you have peace of mind. You understand? People are going to UK. You're like, even that law, go see timing for kidding. You understand?
Yes.
Like, it's just so healthy. Because one thing that can affect us in our 20s is my friend is doing this, my friend is doing that. Me, I want to do it. And you don't know. You don't know that subconsciously. You don't know why you're doing this. Because there is a peer pressure that comes with, all of this. Like, Dimeji was saying, everybody's doing tech. So nothing again. Is it tech? Is it only tech we are eating this life? Of course, I work in a tech company. But at the same time, you need to understand that because of this concept of timing, you exist differently. And you just need to find out that you can't compare. A jacuzzi cannot be compared itself with keke marwa or bike.
How?
Do you understand? But the jacuzzi, once there's hold up, it can't do what a bike can do. Do you understand? So it doesn't make sense. All right, let's move on. So that so no pressure, really no pressure. Just discover your timing and move on. Let 2023 unfold, all that is in you with respect to where you are going to, not with respect to what's happening to your friend or somebody in the other country and all of that. The O for Leap Now is open up more to accountability and mentorship. There is a spirit of, I can do it myself, I don't need anybody. Yes, you need an element of that. You need to have a mind of your own. I agree. I can be like that sometimes. But accountability and mentorship can help your life, can save you stress. Like I was teaching on the platform yesterday about leadership, that if you think that because the experiences of others, that they say experience is the best teacher, I don't believe that. If you think that because of others have their experience and you want to have your own experience, there are many things you will not know. I believe in harvesting. Yes, many things. I believe in harvesting experience. There's no time. So one of the ways you shorten time is to harvest experience. You don't have to experience everything yourself. There are people who have more strength in the area that you are catching up to. Just stay for a while and gather that strength. Get it. And the thing about life is you will keep having to get, because there are just too many. Growth is continuous. So you will need accountability. You will need mentorship. And mentorship is not by force. There are many forms of mentorship. Mentorship is not, this person, you must go to their house. You must always, no, there are different ways you can get this. Because as 20-somethings, imagine you have about 5 people who are older than you and they have seen it in their areas of strength. You just harvest their strength and apply it to your own personal madness. You know what I mean by personal madness? Like your own, like that flexibility to get things done. There's that spontaneity that comes with us. Add their own wisdom to it. There is no sin in being accountable to somebody in an area that you are not strong in. There is no sin there. So in 2023, in the areas that you still feel nobody's taking me accountable in this place, that's why I'm not saying this thing. Find somebody that you can trust to an extent and be accountable. See, I just want to, they don't need to do anything. I just want to be telling you about this area. This is what I'm doing, because they are strong on this area. They don't need to pay attention to you yet. But in your mind, you know that somebody would ask me, because at the beginning of the year, I told somebody this is what I want to do. And because some of us, we are yet to develop the personal capacity to keep ourselves accountable, right? You need to get that strength from another person. Open up more this 2023. You can be mentored online. There are people that I have never met them before, but all their Instagram, please, I know it. I got just once to meet Dr. Miles Munroe before he exited the earth. But before then, I was reading the guide back to back. Like I was thinking Miles Munroe's thoughts. Like he was mentoring me far before I met him. So mentorship can help you. There's no way you would not do all of these things and not pray. So if you have seen all of these things, you will see that I've not mentioned some things, but there's no way you will be doing these things and you will not do those ones. These are master keys that control the other things. The O in Leap Now is open up more to accountability and mentorship. Don't let the elderly people or the older ones who are the top of their listings see you as haughty. You just leave him. You'll get it. Even if you will not do what they will say, at least just keep quiet and be listening. That's why you have an advanced way of thinking. You know that there are some things you know more than some elderly people. I hope you know that there are some things you know it. You have results in those things. But have you found a problem with adults or those who are older than you? Their teachability level for most of them is stinking, is low.
It's low.
And they didn't start like that. They started like you too.
Mm.
And sooner or later, if you don't check these biases, when you are 30, 40, you will not be listening. You will be saying, listen to my own experience. And yet, there's one 20-something-year-old boy there that is doing something that you cannot do. So this is important for us, all of us here, all of us. Oh, open up more for accountability and mentorship. And lastly, would be win daily. The W there is win daily. Every day, make sure that you are depositing something in line with your goals, in line with the things that you really want. Don't wait till you're 100 years before you now be sleeping on your bed and say, when I was small, and I wanted to go to Santorini, and I wanted to travel out, and I wanted to go to Ghana, and I wanted to, no. Daily, make sure that those things that you want to see yourself have done in your afterlife, make sure that you are daily doing something about it. If, for example, you want to travel to the Maldives, Santorini, and all of those places, you should be reading about them right now. You should know them. You should subscribe to the blogs that talk about travel. It'll be in your mind. That's a thing to do daily that resonates with you living from your heart. As you think around it, things would work in a way that would open up opportunities, because I believe travel is an education. I believe travel gets you to a place whereby you see things, you experience things that books or other forms of learning cannot help you. Win daily. Make sure that whatever you have said you're going to do this year, it's not going to just be your 2023 goal. Do something about it today. Someone will come and say, how do I accomplish my goal, my 10-year goal? Do something today about it now. That's the simple thing. Every day, just wake up and say, okay, what are we doing today that will help us? Just do something daily. You cannot not do something daily consistently and not go in the light. Look at what Dwayne the Church, for example. He said he did 100 days of producing. That is massive. Do you know what it means to do something consistently for 100 days? Just daily. So whatever you are choosing to plan, whatever you are choosing to, whatever desires that God has put in your heart, whatever things you want, do something about it daily. If it's reading about it, if it is following someone about it, if it is reaching out to that person, there has to be something you can do about it daily. I'm not a planner to a point where there's nothing. If you, my 50-year plan, I can tell you one thing I'm doing today that is contributing to my 50-year plan, because your 50-year plan is an aggregate of your daily plan. So from now to 100 years, there's a total number of hours and minutes. I hope you're aware. It's not infinity.
Yeah.
There is a total number of hours. 100. You can calculate it. 100 times 60 times 60 times 24. There's a total number. So every day has something to contribute. Of course, that's why you plan leisure. I plan leisure. I do Netflix. I have a series with my wife who are watching, because that one too is important. Do you get? So win daily. Don't wait to say, I will reach out to that person next year. There's something you can do now. You can start liking all their posts. The person will just notice that, who is this person? Is always liking all my posts. You're already creating an impression that you don't know. But you are planning that this guy, I will meet him in 2024. Then you stalk his life, every of his video. You comment, you like.
Reasonable comment.
Of course, reasonable comment too. Because those kind of people, if you do Yama thing, they will give you too.
Shiny blocking.
So reasonable something. Like, sometimes write email to them, just drop it, because you have a long-term plan, but you know how to do something about it daily, not like networking. One day I will meet this person. What's the meaning of that? One day go better. Is it true? Is it true? So
like
one day go better.
1 days. Do you know how many 1 days are left?
That song, one day you go. Now lie, time does not solve anything. It is what you do with time that solves it.
Wow. I'm going to write that out. Is it my network, or if you can still hear me, please drop something in the chat. Because I
No,
can't.
it's back.
I
It's back
can't
now.
hear.
I don't know.
Okay, good. I can hear you
Can you
now.
hear me?
Yeah.
Good. I was talking about time, and I'm wrapping up already. I'm talking about time. So people say this thing, give it time. Does time really solve anything? It's not time. Time is a tool. It is what you do in time. For example, there's an issue. Patience is one of the tools to maximize time. When you are patient, there's something you are doing when you are patient. It's not just waiting. Do you understand?
Yes.
So time will not solve anything. It's what you do in time.
Time. So good.
He said, don't worry, next year, God will make it happen. Even nations that don't pray like Nigeria, they are making things happen. Even though they have their own problem and not acknowledging God anyways. So, summarily, this is what Leap Now stands for. And I hope that I've been able to, help you in clarifying your thoughts. These things are not that entirely difficult, right? They are definite and finite principles. It is what you do with the time. It's what you do with this. So this thing that you have heard now, what will happen by 2024? Yes. What will change? Is what you do with the time. If after now you decide to, let me even hear what this guy is saying. Say, what one thing am I not doing in this thing that this guy is saying? What one thing am I not doing in what Jimmy said? Or I will take only 3 things and I will tie it to 20 hangouts. And in 6 months, if I'm not be able to do 3 things about this thing, I'm not serious. You tell yourself. And you write out that 3 things. That's growth. You are better than somebody who just listen and say, hey. And in 6 months, no paradigm shift, no new steps, no advance, nothing is really changing. It's just inshallah, and something and vibes. So guys, that's it. Leap Now 2023 Hangouts with Lami J. Timmy always saying,
wow.
Thank you for listening. Oh, thank you guys for listening.
Oh my days. What? Just while we're still, in this, let me add Dimeji back. Dimeji, are you ready to be added? So we just have the question, and I feel like we're almost at a climax, so that we just read that climax. And you can take out time and soak everything in after. Yes. So good. So you can take out time and soak in everything after. Oh my God. So now we're going to take questions now, because
Lami J, is there no way to put you in the middle like this? The way I'm seeing myself, put you now, boy, girl, boy. I be.
Workshop. They still gave me this part. I give up.
You're the host now, so.
Hey,
I give up.
All right, just check. That's on lighter note.
Ladies first.
No, I don't like this. So. I don't like this. I want to see you. So let's just go back to this. Yes. Okay. So, I was going to summarize your session, but then I feel like the slides, I've done a fantastic job at summarizing it. There is really no point summarizing it. I mean, you can ask me for the slides. I'll drop it on the WhatsApp, group chat or the Telegram community. I'm going to drop the link of the Telegram community if you're not on it right now in the chat. Anyways, drop your questions. Let me see your questions in the comment section. There's already a question, so I'm just going to go ahead with that one. And I'm going to ask, it says, do you have any content block exercises? I think this actually goes for, both Timmy and, let's just say Timmy. It sounds very weird in my mouth. Uncle T. Oh, I muted. Wait. Yes.
Carry go now.
Not very weird in my mouth. Anyways. And Dimeji. So, yes, your name is Timmy, but you're not Timmy to me. This battle, you cannot win it. Anyways, so you both create, right? You create Dimeji creates on Instagram, your podcast with Bolaji, you create on Twitter, you are constantly creating. Same for Uncle T, you have a podcast, you have academic mentoring, you have organized living, you have building men thoroughly, so that you are constantly creating. How do you deal, not enough say how do you deal with content blocks, because it's like a very or always repeating question. Do you have content block exercises that you do?
Maybe
Anybody
you should
can
go
go
first,
first.
though. I beg. No,
Oh,
maybe you should
you're
go
putting
first.
me
He
on
has
the
been
spot.
chilling. He has been.
I've been chilling. All right. So I think one thing that I know is, as humans, we have peak periods, right?
Mm.
There are periods where your creativity is at its best and you have the energy. I mean, for me, I wake up saying 9 a.m. 9 a.m. because I'm going to bed maybe like 6 a.m. So I'm justified. So I wake up 9 a.m., for example, and there might be a lot of energy between 9 a.m. and 12 noon. So that's the peak period for me.
Mm.
I would always leverage that to do the best of the best things, to do the biggest things I have to do in the day. But then naturally, you know when your energy starts to dwindle. And
Mm.
that's when maybe somebody's calling you and is asking you about one job like that you're frustrated about, and you just lash out. And it happens like that almost every day. Or you have a coworker who is frustrating you after 3 p.m. So we know naturally we know ourselves and we know how we operate. But then when you start to ignore that, all in the name of wanting to be productive and always, have things going, you will get burnt out because you're doing way too much past your energy periods.
Mm.
So creative blocks, ideas, and all of that. What I would just tell you is understand your peak periods or your creative peaks, your energy periods, your energy peaks, and leverage them to achieve the things you need to achieve in the
Mm.
times you need to achieve them. Say I wake up this morning and I'm feeling particularly excited and there's a lot of energy. I can record 7 to 10 videos, and that will last me for some, 5 days, right?
Mm.
That's good. I publish 2 videos, almost 2 videos every day. So that's fair. So for one day, I've sort of removed 5 days from the picture and I can spend my other days doing other things.
Other things.
But then on days where I don't feel excited at all, like nothing, because I already have things created, I don't have to worry about being blocked. On days where I have creative block, it happens frequently. I mean, it's a normal thing. So have those moments where you leverage that energy period you have. There are some days where I do like 20 videos, right? But then the 20 videos is not because I'm just spontaneous and I'm doing 20 videos. It's because there's already a plan ahead of those 20 videos. I
Yeah.
sat down to write the script, to document the ideas. And one of the key things that I do every single time is to document my ideas as much as I can. So every single day before I go to bed, around say 9 a.m., 11 a.m. till midnight, sometimes 2 a.m., before I should just go to bed, I make sure that whatever prevailing thoughts I had in my mind, I sort of put them in a voice note or I write them down. So that by the time I wake up in the morning all refreshed, I play it again to just go over. Is there anything that makes sense in this rant I had last night with myself? And then I start to pick a couple of things that make sense and then put them in Google Keep. So in my Google Keep app currently, since 2019, I have over 8,000 entries of ideas, thoughts, possible content topics, and all of that. So I don't run out of content to sort of share because I'm waking up in the morning and I'm scrolling through and I'm like, oh, how to
Mm.
leverage being an introvert and build a personal brand. That's a topic. Okay, cool. Let me add flesh to it, and then I add flesh to it, and I do that at least every single day.
Mm.
And on days where the energy is there, I just go ahead, sit down, and I create this because the scripts are already prepared or the idea for the video is ready. Now, we live in this age now that AI is taking over the world. All I need to just do is pick out that topic, I'll put it in ChatGPT, and it gives me a script, and I tweak it to fit my style and the storytelling pattern I want to go with, and I'm good. So you don't have to keep saying I have creative block, all of this and that. See, nobody really cares about that anymore. If you can't go ahead and do these things in a consistent manner, you rather not do it at all. And one of the ways you can actually get to that place where you can do this thing over and over again, even when you have blocks, even when you have downtimes, even when you're probably like exhausted, is to have like a store where you have a lot of things documented. Like, I mean, Google Keep, every single day something is always going up there because your mind is actively working. So in moments where you're having, like, I mean, while on the conversation today, I've already documented like almost 10 different things, different ideas from the conversation that we had and the one with Uncle Timmy. So I basically just bring out a lot of things and make sure that your mind is actively working. So please leverage those periods where it is working. You're on this session right now. You're learning a lot of things. Document these things. They will help you later in the future. I don't mean write out an episode from a conversation. No. Pointers, and then you add flesh to them later. And then when it's time for you to actually bring about that thing, just start adding flesh to it as you go. You know, maybe like 1 hour daily to cycle through all your ideas, to add flesh to them. And then by the time by the time it is necessary for you to sort of document, or sorry, to record or to produce these things, you already have scripts ready to go. I mean, last night I made a new video and the script was just from a Pinterest, quote I saw, and it became a video. So I had energy, I couldn't sleep, and I recorded about 7 videos last night. So I have videos for the entire week. So
I celebrate you.
Interesting thought.
I celebrate you.
Why? Which one is Uncle Timmy, Dimeji? I'm not that old.
I'm
Please,
going
you push me.
I'm going with the flow.
This behavior now just behavior. Oh. See, forget I can shave. Oh, I can cut it here. All right, to add to what Dimeji said, that's like, oh my God, like I've already jotting things around that. Dimeji, thank you for that thought. That's awesome. Like everyone has some form of blog from time to time.
Profound.
Right. I think an individual just needs to know what I would call their inspiral moments, their inspiration moments, right? There are times that's very key. When that period where, and if you study yourself, which you should, which I think it's a very important principle about life. As you evolve, study yourself. What's changing about you? That's why I'm big on thinking. I'm big on all those things because it affects your work. It affects you. Go to other places in advanced countries. There are classes for thinking, like discovering yourself. Like, people are paying attention to themselves. So if you pay attention to yourself, one of the things you find out is you are supposed to know your inspiral moments, the moments whereby that's your USP, your unique selling proposition, your place. That's your own competitive advantage. There's not something about you that is different from everybody. You need to know that time, especially as regards content creation. You need to find that time and double down on it, right? The other side to that is the discipline to just do it. See, sometimes it's just discipline, really. It's just discipline to think through things. I was discussing with my boss at some point, and he said, if you're not thinking about this thing, you will not get ideas. If that thing is not in your face, if you are not deliberately thinking about improving something or adding value to something, ideas don't just drop. And critical thinking has taught us that as you pay attention to a particular thought, and again, you are looking at it from different parts. Psychology also connects with that and saying that there's something in the brain that makes sure that it keeps creating that line in the brain. So the more you do it, the more you are positioned to be able to have innovative thinking, new ideas, and all of that. So those two for me, understand your inspiration moments and maximize it, double down on it. That's the energy movement that Dimi talked about. Then also sometimes all you need is just shared discipline to think upon the content you need to create. That's for me.
Yeah, discipline, very important. Shakbe says, I figured in 2022 that it's not like you don't want to be consistent. You just lack discipline. Discipline is a big thing, and it takes a lot. Self-accountability is not much talked about. It's not much talked about. Like there's a way I learned it. Self-respect. The self-respect to do the things you say you will do. It will take you far, literally. Okay, so if I'm to add anything, I'll just say that always remember that your strength is finite. Which is like, what everyone has said. Your strength is finite, meaning that there is a max to it. You can max out your strength, right? So when you have the strength, maximize it. I don't know if this makes sense to anyone, but your strength is finite. you will not always be at the top of your game, which Dimitri was saying that he felt, good yesterday night and was like, you know what, 7 videos, that's it. And that's out of the things he has to do for this week. Your strength is finite. You have to, maximize those. And I think another important thing is also like I would normally say to people that you have to have a master's degree in yourself, which both persons have said. You have to have a master's degree in yourself. You have to know yourself so well. Of course, it's a continuum, but so and as it relates to content blog, I would say that what is your method? What method works for you? So it's possible that you're getting burnt out because of the method with which you are creating. And it's also possible that you're getting burnt out because you are not creating what is natural to you.
Right.
So you're forcing, of course, there's a part of putting your creativity under pressure for it to juice out other things. But there is also that carved out part that is natural to you. Maximize your strengths, work on your weaknesses. When they become strengths, maximize them too. Simple. And I think that makes sense. Anyways, we have a second question. Let me know if the answers to the question, makes sense to you. Of course, it makes sense to me, a whole lot of sense. So this says that, I can find this one. What's the one sentence that you can give to your family and friends in order for them to stop comparing you to other people without sounding so bluntly rude? This sounds rude already. Let me just say. This person is like, just give me that one word that I can say, bam, like this, and they'll keep short. So, comparison, I don't think I've experienced a lot of that from family and friends. So, I don't think I can speak on that. If I would say something, I would say, rub your uniqueness in their face. Rub it in their face. Rub your uniqueness.
Show a little bit of responsibility. Right. When I first started my own, how would you tell people who sent you to school for 6 years and paid ridiculous amount of money that you don't want to use your degree? Right. They felt like I was saying nonsense. And then for about 2 years, my dad would always come to my studio and ask me, so when are you going to get a real job? So, but the one thing I saw that I learned or I practiced was while I was still living with them, anytime I needed to go out, I never used to ask for anything, right? So by the time I get to where I'm going to and I'm coming back, I'll always buy like maybe, food stuff, fish, meat, or something. It's small, but I mean,
bread at least.
I never came back home empty-handed. So by the time I get into the house, and I never went straight to my dad. I'll just go straight to my mom. I brought you this, so God bless you, this and that. And then occasionally, I would send airtime. Occasionally, I would do data that would last like 2 months. And little by little, all of those things was going out. I mean, some days I'll just drive out, carry the what's it called, the gas cylinder, and fill it and bring it back home. So I started doing things like this spontaneously, but then it was planned in my own head because I'm like, every month, so and so will be going to them so that they will not complain and say anything. So I was doing the whole calculation thing. It must work fine. And it got to a point where I did not send airtime in 1 month. And my mom was like, you did not send me airtime this month. So subconsciously it already became, this guy is actually responsible. Even though he's just pressing laptop or pressing phone. They never cared anymore because at least they were seeing the results. Not that I was making the money. They were seeing, very little. It's not like I'm sending them money every month, right? I'm still basically even trying to fend for myself then. So, but a little, I used to spend like 10K on data then in 2019. And it's not kill me to just take out 2K and make 2 gig for both of them. So I started doing that actively and it became a really big thing that months where I probably don't do anything, they will talk and say, what happened though? Yeah, didn't you make enough money this month? And one of the ways I feel like you can really nail this is try and explain what you do to them in
Simple
layman's
terms.
terms, right? There was a time where my mom was complaining, "You're always in the room, pressing laptop, doing this." That neighbors are beginning to ask that your son is always running generator 24/7. Hope he's not doing Yahoo.
Now
I
them.
was like, okay. So I brought her in, sat her down, and at the time I was full time with graphics design and branding. So I brought out printed flyers that I've done with churches, for businesses, for organizations. Anytime I do designs like that, I request for physical copies. And I was just showing her that does she know how church will be sharing flyer and banner? That is what I do, and that's how I make money. She's like, oh, and I was telling her that okay, that whenever she goes outside and she sees all those glow adverts with banner on top, like with billboards and everything.
Billboards,
I said yes. So I showed her a picture that somebody took, one of my pictures from Pixels that they use for glow adverts, and I showed her. She was like, that's good though. And that's how everything became very. That's how I won the battle, honestly. So start doing little by little, and then even if you're not living in the house with them, I mean, show support. Very little support once in a while.
That's I think that
And then-
you just even said what the follow-up was.
Yeah, and make them know that what you're doing, this is what you're doing. In simple terms, and they would understand. I feel they would understand. So
Okay. Uncle, do you have anything to say on that?
Wow, that's pure thought actually. Like Dimeji is looking like a family man already. He's married.
He is.
Yes, I know he's
married.
married. I know he's married. I'm just remembering that he started his family man since. So you see, when we tell guys that it's not when you marry, you start doing all of these things. Nobody told him to
Exactly.
start carrying gas to go and buy. You understand? He just woke up.
True,
So
true.
like I'm like, this guy started doing
I actually
family
didn't say
man.
it like that.
Yeah, sure. That's how it actually happens. So yeah, I think to add to what he has said, I will categorize what he has said as unique contribution. Your own unique contribution must be clear to them, right? And the other part, why do people compare actually? When you think about it, why do parents compare? Why?
Lack of
Think
result.
about it. One, okay, lack of result. What other reason again? Why do parents compare? Okay, oh, my children are
environmental normalness. I don't know if
yeah,
that's the
so
word.
before I got married, hey, when we get married, when we get married, when we get married, when we
or they want to be able to like talk about you to other people and not
Good,
feel
right.
like
that's it.
there's
Bragging
nothing to
rights.
say.
There's something it does to them that this my child do you know till now, no matter how good you are doing in Nigeria, some parents just feel, guy, travel, leave Nigeria. You're like,
Right.
they're like, that's your friend, this is your person. So when you query the why of why they are doing what they are doing, right, it helps you to know that can you fundamentally also do something that addresses that why. That's the thing. If there's something that addresses that their why, so why is your mom, if your mom, for example, sees that you have an engaged life as a lady, like you are not bored, you are not depressed, you are enjoying yourself, there is a level that she will know. She's like, this person is enjoying her life. You're like, okay, marriage will just come to be like an icing on the cake. But if she sees that you are always down, you are always skinny, you are just dressing, like, go and marry. When will you marry? When will you marry? When will you marry? So
Add some spice to your life.
do you understand? So when when you are in a level of course, unique contribution, like Dimeji has said, you should be also in that place whereby you are able to address there's a deep-seated concern that they have, right? And be able to communicate that deep-seated concern. So, for example, when Dimeji was able to explain to mom that, oh, this is what I do, then the concern of, why are you just sitting on the lap? She knows what to say now, wherever she, do you understand? She knows what to say because that deep-seated concern of, you're just indoor. And once you have results, forget all the other things, it's just cruise. Once you have, it's cruise, let me tell you. Once you have the result, but like this, it's just cruise. When I was at home working, and I was in school, and I got scholarship, they were just like, you just be reading. When I got scholarship and I started bringing money home, like they say, see now, you are bringing money, you are doing this. I say, hey, see all those books I used to see now, I read, this is the result. When you
This
say
is
me, I don't used to go and play outside. This is the result, or this is scholarship result. So once you have some form of, result in your own way that compensates for that deep-seated need, you don't even need to talk too much before they know that, that they don't need to compare you, that you're just in your own space. All right. Wow.
it's always like time flies. I remember last year we were like 2 hours, 2 hours, 30 minutes were done. We're very close to 4 hours before we stopped last year. And amazing conversations. The last question we'll be taking here is can we have tips on how to this question is not clear, so I would need more clarity on this. Can we have tips on how to let growth grow you to your full potential? Please shed more light. This English, I'm not getting it. Shed more
English is
light
not
on it.
English.
It's not English. Shed more light. While we are waiting, for the person who asked the question to shed more light, I'll just quickly say that can you give us 2 action steps each for us to do today? Of course, going forward. Of course, we're still going to sit down individually and write out the action steps by ourselves. But if you can say 2 action steps, I'm going to give everyone on this call, everyone that will listen to the replay, everyone that watch again, 2 action steps that you can start consciously taking from this week, this month. Okay, January is almost over. February, this week, what would those 2 action steps be? Dimeji, do you want to go first?
Yeah, all right. So this is like I think it's an action step, but it's like more is broad, but then it's like baby steps and you get there. And I talked about it, while we're talking at first, which is to master yourself. And I think I'll just put this on emotional intelligence, right? A lot of persons don't know themselves, or they deceive themselves thinking they are something which they are not. And emotional intelligence would help you to, not for the purpose of being able to interact with other people first, because it helps to be able to interact with people really well, but then for yourself, all those lies you tell yourself and all those deep-seated deceits and those kind of fluff you tell yourself, right? They actually go a long way in hindering you from doing certain things. And for a long time, I was that boy that used to say, I'm shy, I can't stand in front of the crowd, I can't face people to talk. All I needed to do was just change what I was saying about myself. That was like the first step. The moment I stopped saying I'm shy, the confidence to want to actually be in front of the crowd started to come little by little. So it was first about changing what I said about myself, how I thought about myself emotionally. And everything started working from there. So I started doing, staying in front of the mirror to talk, realizing what I would say over and over again, putting everything in my iPad then, and then, like do repetition of speech. And then started with just engaging with a crowd of 30 persons. I became class governor. And then later on, I was addressing a crowd in church of 500, to a point where I was coordinating over 3,000 youths in rural rugged. So, but it started from that point where I was standing in front of 30 persons and I almost fainted. And I realized that, what? I'm not shy. And I have to stand against this thing because I know one of those days I'm going to be in the spotlight. So I rather start working on it from now. So build emotional intelligence, build that thing. So it's like a very baby step. Start with changing what you say about yourself. Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so he is. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. So all of those things, what goes into someone doesn't defile them, but it's what comes out. So it's the things you profess, you've conceived in your heart and you've professed that actually starts to happen. So if you keep saying, I'm a fraud, I'm an imposter, I'm a this, I'm a that, you become that thing over time. So change what you say about yourself. Then the second thing is, please, don't try and compete with people who are ahead of you. It may not be so much of a action step, but if you see anybody that you admire, before you start saying, I want to be like this person, no, go back to the beginning of what they did that you're interested in and try to see where did they start from. That's an action step.
Nobody
go back
just
to their
arrives.
beginning. Yes, and go and check. I mean, I studied about 7% before I started my podcast. Gary V, Tyler Stallman, what's the name of this man? Joe Rogan, Matt Devella, and a couple of other persons. And from each of them, I was speaking one thing that was special about them. For Gary V, was this his energy and relentlessness. For Joe Rogan, how to engage, conversations that last long. For Matt Devella, quality minimalist videos. Fisayo for Shudo, starting with what you have, and all of those guys. And then I picked 7 people, put them together, learn from their mistakes, and then said, I'm going to add a little bit of Dimeji to it. And I launched. But imagine if I was saying, these guys are using big cameras now. I want to wait till I get a camera so I can be like them. You died here.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Because I spent August 2018 till January 2019 before I actually launched my podcast. What was I doing? I was waiting to buy a camera. And eventually, a family emergency came up in December that I spent all of the savings on. So eventually, I didn't buy the camera. So imagine, I could have still waited and say, okay, I'll go and buy another camera. But I just said, you know what, I have a smartphone that can record video. So I brought out a smartphone, started making videos. And 2 years later, I bought the camera. And I wasn't even interested in using the camera anymore because I felt like the phone was getting the job done. But so that you can just upgrade and, step up, start using camera. So master yourself, which is emotional intelligence, is important. The things you say about yourself, don't joke with that. And then don't try and compete with people you should be learning from. So start with going back to their beginning and learn from them.
Precise and absolute. Yes, you can go on. 2 action steps.
So from my end, you would have decoded by now that I'm an action person. So I'm not going to say anything different. Like even my being, I believe being, B-E-I-N-G, is an action word. So your human being, who you are, you're always acting out. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's why naturally from my slide, you see that it's all action based. So number 1 I would say is get the slides or look at this point, leap now again. And number 2 is do number 1, do it. Just keep doing it because everything there is action, literally action based. So number 1, just do number 1 again and again. Look at it. If I had any other thing now, you will forget. I don't want to make you forget anything. Leap now and of course take learnings. Rinse and repeat. Take learnings as you go on. The one that you've mastered, drop it. We call it agile process in Scrum. You do it again, you check it, you do it again, check it, you do it again, you pull it out, and before you know you're good. But leap now, do it again and again. And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much, Lami. You're doing a great job. Great job. Can we appreciate Lami J, please? Wait. Can we just appreciate Lami J? Lami J is fire. She's done a great job. She's kept us engaged for literally 3 hours. Good job, girl. I was telling my wife how you were able to do both the on-ground one and the virtual one. I'm like, nice. She eventually took that
last
step.
year. It was such a huge step. The physical hangout. Funny thing, at some point, I went back to Jesus. I'm like, who's telling me? I'm not doing it again. But I'm happy we had the physical hangout and it was amazing. Like, if I can say so myself, so much people are still talking about it, and someone was like, let's have Valentine's edition. I'm like, you are who? It's not me. Anyways, thank you so much. It means a lot. Thank you. Really. So how can you reach Dimeji? How can you reach Timi Awesu? Timi Awesu is on Instagram and Facebook. Everywhere is Timi Awesu. Instagram, YouTube, everywhere is Timi Awesu. On Spotify and Anchor, his podcast is Building Mentorally. Okay, you can simply just go to www.timiawesu.com and you see everything you need to know about him. His links, his academic mentoring schools, and his book, yes, Academic Excellence Demystified. Yes.
Hey,
just look.
You know everything. Hey, God. You know everything.
I am a fan. I am a fan with my project. Yes.
Thank you, Lami. I
celebrate you, sir. I celebrate you. Okay. Dimeji, go on Instagram at Dimeji with double I. Am I right?
Yeah,
Alright.
Dimeji everywhere. See, anyway, just search on Google DIIMEJI. You find, see,
Yes.
you see everything.
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 Yes. And you can do well to, check back on the is this Simplified Creative or what was the name? Simple Creative.
The Simple
I think that was
Creative,
how
yeah.
I think that was how I found you at first on YouTube. I started my YouTube channel 2019, so I think early 2020 or 20, I don't know. I remember that I was just searching YouTube that day and I came across you, and then it led me to Instagram, and the rest is history. Yes, so go through the link in his bio. You see everything. You can get his also he has a podcast, with Bolaji Billions. It's about what's it called? Beyond the Metrics, right? I was still listening to an
Beyond the
episode
Metrics, yeah.
yesterday or the first day. And so you can, they talk about branding, creativity, everything you need to know, and focusing on the right thing. I think you also have an ebook, right?
I have a number of ebooks.
Yes,
So,
they're very resourceful. I think I downloaded one time, and it wasn't really an ebook. I think it was a compilation or something. And I'm like,
oh yeah, so
Which
newsletters
guy-
are sent over the years.
and I'm grateful for all those kind of things. It just compiled a lot of value, and yes, there was one time you also shared this daily and weekly to-do lists kind of thing.
Planners, yeah.
Yes, I printed them out actually. Yes. So yes,
Wow.
reach out and to me, I'll be me. Don't worry. Olamide Bomodioku on. I should not even be talking about my Facebook because it's dead. Let's just go to Instagram. Lami.Jane on Instagram and Lami Jane on YouTube. What else? I think those are like my two major socials. TikTok, yeah, Lami.Jane. Everywhere, Lami.Jane or Lami Jane. Yes. Okay. The question we were waiting for clarity on, we'll just do that fast and we'll be out of here in 5-6 minutes. How can you allow yourself grow without self-sabotaging? Meaning simply, how can you, avoid self-sabotage, or how can you manage self-sabotage? I don't know if that is clear enough, but self-sabotage in itself.
Okay. I can take that, right?
Shoot.
All right. So, I don't like to judge, but then from what I'm hearing, I can hear two distinct things. Number one is you want to run ahead of your time, and number two is like there's a life that somebody else has that you want to fit yourself into. If you're really following your own path, there won't be any kind of self-sabotage because this is genuinely where you should be. They say they're your own lane. Don't go and try and be doing relay race with somebody else in their own lane. They will crush you. And besides that, they understand the lane better than you do. So they will best you in it, and you'll probably be a second or third or a copy.
Wow.
And I've seen that thing prevalent in our, in this new creator space and everything, where somebody launches with a new idea, it goes viral, everybody loves it, the person becomes popular. Before you know it, everybody is doing that same thing. And do you know what you're doing? You're basically just making that same person still popular. Nobody knows you. Because anytime they see what you do, they'll be like, oh, that looks like Dimeji's work. Oh, he's doing videos like or this person or like that. And that's just the way it is. So you want to avoid self-sabotage, focus on yourself. Like you want to avoid self-sabotage, focus on yourself. It is not really about how quick these things would happen. They take time, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who has done it for 7 years, you're just starting, this is your second year. Comparison in that regard is just, a disaster.
Useless.
Then in a place where you feel like you're overwhelming yourself with the things you have to do. Now, this is something that I also experienced once, which is multiple passions, not knowing which one to focus on, and then you're trying to just do everything at the same time. No. What you can do is build one, devote your time and energy to one, maybe like for 2-3 years, and then once you've been able to gain clarity and your root in that thing, diversify. As a personal example, since 2019, I had the idea to start a video production company, a not-for-profit design agency that design school, and a couple of other things, right? But then all of those things were just ideas. If I launched everything at that time, they would have died. So what I did was focused on building my personal brand and getting myself out there, so people at least there can be visibility. People sort of know who this guy is. And then when I now start to push these other ones by the side, it will be difficult. Because if I'm telling somebody who is a prospective client that I own a video production agency and we help you do your video editing, we help you, if you're a YouTuber, you don't have to worry about editing. Just send us your files. We can even do the shooting for you and all of that. If the person wants to question it, the person can just go to my Instagram and see that I make high quality videos. You understand? So I've done it for myself for the past 3 years. I've gotten amazing results. I've grown my account about 130,000. All of those things, they give me proper track record that I would never have gotten if I started the business immediately I got the idea. So, and if I ask you this, who do you know first? Mark Zuckerberg or Facebook? Facebook, right? But then, did you go and start from Mark Zuckerberg? You were like, who built this thing that is good? I want to go and know who that is.
It came.
Probably. It just came, right? But then right now, if you go and check, that was because it was old then. Now, check now. Who is more popular between Elon Musk and Tesla?
Elon Musk.
Who is more popular between Virgin Atlantic and Richard Branson? Who is more popular between Amazon and Jeff Bezos? You see that people want to know the person who is building these things, which means first they want to know you as the creator, as the owner, as the manufacturer, whatever it is. If they're checking richest people in the world, are they mentioning the name of your business? No, it is your name that they're mentioning. So build yourself first, and then let other things come along the way. And I feel like if you can do this, the whole idea of self-sabotage is because you're probably chasing something you shouldn't be chasing, that is not yours, that is not your path. You've not really mastered yourself. Like, focus on yourself. I mean, remember the first action step I shared, which is to emotional intelligence. Build that person that you are. Every other thing will sort of flow in. Self-sabotage can be in the form of, I'm not good enough, I'm a fraud, this thing is a lie, I don't have the strength to do all of these things, I will not succeed, I'm a failure. All of those things, those are literally words that define you eventually. So if you don't want to enter that place, then just change that thing you're chasing. Ambition can actually get you in trouble. People are being honest. You have big goals. Yes, break it down into everyday actionable steps. I mean, I had this ambition to build a big conglomerate over the next couple of years, but I started with just starting with building the media as a brand.
A brand.
And then I can now venture into this, that, architecture, and all of those others. And everything sort of, just go fine. I don't know if that answered your question.
Would you like to add?
More things to add.
Yeah. Thank you. Would you like to add something to that? Or do you have like a different perspective?
Double down on that. Self-sabotage. One principle you just look at is go study a crop or a plant. Because I see principles everywhere, and sometimes we don't pay attention to some of these things. Why does a plant, have you seen a plant self-sabotaging itself if it has the right conditions? So you need to look at it, that why does it grow? If all the conditions are right, it just does its thing. You get? So
natural.
It's when there are externals like, hey, you cannot start studying the weed concept. When you have a wrong association, you have
the things you consume.
The things you consume. So if you look at plants and you look at all of those things, you're able to see, okay, why does this thing grow without, problem? And one aspect you want to pay attention to is words. Self-sabotage starts from self-imaging, right? Self-prophecy. There's something you believe about yourself. And these things are not motivational. That's why I tell people, they are not motivational quotes. These things are real. This is our principle. Like,
they
self-sabotage
work.
is you. It's you that is causing it. There's a way you see yourself. there's a self-perception, there's what you say to yourself, even though you don't know, right? That's why introspective trainings, introspective times to look at how you are thinking, the way you are thinking, why you are doing what you are doing, why do you want a first class, why do you want to travel to the UK, why do you want to Japan now, why do you want to go and start creating why? So if you don't get all of those things right, self-sabotage is normal. Do you understand? If you just grow, it's an effect. Like it just happen. You don't even need to stop it because you have created the condition.
Like you're flowing, it's flowing out.
I used to do I almost self-sabotage like 5 years ago. I would see people I like. This guy with 20 years experience, 30 years experience, and I'm looking at his CV and I'm like, Oluwa, how did somebody build this? How did he build this? I will meet him. That was all this. And I went to meet my coach one time, and he said, "How many years experience or what do you have?" Like 2 years. How many years experience did that person have? I said 2 decades.
I mean,
and you know the worst part is that we discount every success we've had in our lives because it doesn't look like somebody else's success.
Yes.
Content idea. Nice.
I was just about to say, I think Salem said something about that in, I think, the video 2 days ago or something.
Well, actually one of the videos I even recorded yesterday too. Like you discount your own success because it doesn't look like somebody else's. It doesn't make any sense.
So you are creating for the people you are looking up
it's like
and not for your audience. Make it make sense.
Right. So self-sabotage is an effect. It's the fruit. There are things that you need to change downwards. There's something you need to change downwards. Like the words you speak to yourself. Like my wife knows, I will just wake up and just say, I'm going to be successful. It doesn't have to do with anybody.
It's a
I'll just out of the blues. And when I mean successful, I know what success is to me. Success to me is not having money like Bill Gates. See, it's not having money like Bill Gates. That's not success to me. No. All those things that people put on social media, they don't affect me. Like they are. You see, if you like put Lamborghini, if you like put your jackpot, I'm so self-aware and confident of what God has coming to be that go see much. Like there's nothing. I will meet Obama today. I'll just hail him. Obama, Baba will greet you, but his accomplishment, you cannot intimidate me because you will just kill yourself. You just kill yourself. Say, Obama, I cannot stand near him. No. There's a self-identification. There's something about you that you don't know that would cause you to naturally self-sabotage. And once you can avoid those words, those things you consume, those things, it's not everything on social media that is true. In short, I think 80% is a lie. So once you have those thinkings, you already know, right? Everything is packaging. So
it's branding.
It's branding. Just understand? Branding. Do you get?
Yeah.
I cannot tell you what I'm wearing as I'm sitting there in my office right now. It's branding.
Don't do that.
It's a conversation now. I'm being real. We are being real now.
As a YouTuber, I understand that I'm only filming the top. So there are times I'm wearing joggers. Right now, I'm actually wearing joggers to this shirt.
Can you imagine?
So, I think there's also something I feel like we should keep in mind, especially for young people. What do you think would happen when you've gotten to your peak at 22?
Chai, Dimeji, this thing you said, my coach told me personally in a personal session. And my coach is one of
you've gotten to your peak at 22. See, the rest of your life will be miserable because you would always want to. See, the weird part is you'll be reliving that moment, thinking it can come back, and then you've gotten to that top and you're like, oh my God. So moving on, you would never go beyond because you've peaked. And that's because too early you got there. And at that point, the only thing that can happen is to come down. Like you've gotten to the highest point, is to come down.
And the excellence of yesterday is the mediocrity of today.
Exactly. Then you know the good parts, right? So there was a month I was studying extensively about, I wrote a book actually, Who Sets the Standard, but I didn't publish it. I'll publish it soon. I'm still trying to grow into my own being because there are some things that you write and is not ripe for the public. So I'm hiding it till I can come into the fullness of that thing myself. But then I was learning something and I realized that you start on a journey sometimes and then you get somewhere and you realize that, oh, I'm on a plateau. There's no place to go anymore because that path, you've gotten to the end of that particular place. Now, wisdom demands that if you want to progress, you come down from that hill or that plateau and then climb another one that is higher. But you know the weird part is we don't want to come down because we feel like,
not to jump,
but I've gotten
like
to this
from this,
top.
don't jump.
Do you think one helicopter will come and carry you from the plateau and carry you to the top of the? No. And another thing I feel is very important is whenever you feel like your life is going up, down, you're actually living a very fulfilling life because what happens to people who are living on a flat line? They are dead.
They're dead.
So yes, if you look at that life support, it's going up and down. The moment it's flat, it's on a flat line. That means nothing is happening anymore. So whenever you're down, you know that there is room to go up. And whenever you get to the top, please be careful because if you really want to stay at that top, just know that there's no more growth for you. You have to stay there. But if you want to grow, you have to come down from that place and climb a place that is higher. And I think that's the way I've been living my life. Whenever I get to a point where I feel like it's the climax, I'm like, oh my goodness, I've gotten to the height of this thing. That's the end. Bye-bye to this thing. It's an achievement. I love it. But all those trophies, I'm discarding them, go down and build something entirely new or something new, and then go up again. And if you look at that, on the grand scheme of things, it's actually a ladder, right? I wish I could illustrate this. So you have a plateau, you get here, you've gotten to the end, you come down, you go up again, you come down, you go up again. That means it keeps rising. If you look at it, eventually, it will be a straight line, but it takes years to get there. If you compress it, it takes years. But if you're looking at it within the space of 1 year, you're like, I feel like twice this year, not knowing that you've actually gone higher on that journey. So don't be too quick to think when you get to that peak that you've arrived or more. If you've arrived, that's the end. You have to go back down and build something new and keep going. Because if you look at all of these guys that we know today, I was talking about Warren Buffett. This man has been relevant for more than 50 years. How? Industrial Revolution, it was there. Computer, it was there. Now the connected AI is there. Why? Because for every peak it got to, he realized that there's something greater. He came down, spent a couple of years understanding it, met with the right people, invested in the right places, and then it picks up again. When it gets to that peak also, it comes, and that's how these people are growing. I mean, right now, Facebook is pouring all their money into the metaverse. People think he doesn't know what he's doing. But give it the next 2 years, you see that guy back up. Because now you have to go down to build so that they could launch up again. And that's how it actually is. But we don't see that. We just feel like I'm at that point already. I need to enjoy it and last there. There's no growth anymore once you
take all I can from it.
That's how you find people having midlife crisis at 25. You have not even half of your life yet. You haven't
not even reached midlife. You never even midlife.
As in 22-year-old people are saying that
depression. Hey, God.
Depressed. Of course, there's the other things, but yeah.
So coach will say, this point is really very, very vital. My
it's
coach
a lot.
That when he started at 26, bought a car, bought a Jeep, was balling, was top of class, worked for P&G, was making. He said then his coach then now told him that if you live all your life now, leave everything now, buy the house, do everything. Kilo, what will you be doing? What will you be doing? So then that's when he talked about thinking long term, right? So when I go and meet him, I say, I have this 1 year plan. We say, can you space it into 10 years? How will it look like in 10 years? I would say, is it not too long? You say, you do better. That 1 year plan, space it. I'm like, hey, what's doing this man now? Let's do this thing sharp, man.
Sharp.
Exactly.
There's no sharp. There's no sharp. Take your time, bro.
Wow. Do you know what you were saying when you said something? We're done, actually. When you said something about going up, down, it reminds me of, because I said, oh, if I get to speak right on today's hangout, I'll just touch. I think I said 2 things or 3 things. Where's my notes? I think I said 2 things or 3 things. Yes, and one of those 3 was that the background work is the main work. Like the work that happens behind the scene is the main work.
Process.
That's the main work. It's not really. Of course, I used to say I'm not Gen Z. I'm not millennial. I have an ancient spirit. So
Yeah, Lami J.
I'm Lami Jane. Like, I mean, do you get? So I'm like the work that happens. Of course, I'm not against sharing accomplishments and everything that happens on the gram and anywhere else, but the real work at the core, what gets the job done is what happens behind the scenes. Those nights, those hours, those things that nobody else actually sees, or even if anybody sees, they are like the 0.0000000% of people that would see it. So the real work is the background work. When we're talking about going up and down, and when you come down, and this thing that bounces too. For it to bounce higher, it has to come down. It has to come down. It cannot go up and bounce from up. No, now you don't bounce from up. You have to come down, build momentum again, and go. That's
good thought. People don't like the concept of down. It's a misalignment of principle. They don't understand what down is. They think down means slow. They think down means fail. They think down means bad. It's wrong teaching. In short, my coach will tell me that you learn more from failure than success. Like he says, success doesn't teach you anything. He says failure that teaches you something. I'm like, whoa, really? He said, yes, now think about it. So the concept of down has to be properly thought. People think that, get slowing down sometimes, taking your time to, don't just be inflecting, self-reflection, like just chilling and trying to gather momentum. They think is no. We have to be taught that again, that it's part of the flow to relax, to calm down, to look at things afresh. Like it's as important as being at the peak of anything.
Wow.
Right.
So last year we had giveaway sessions, and we gave dollars, and you remember there was dollars being given out. I think we gave like 2 bid knob. You gave 2 bid knob. What's it called last year, and other things were given out. This year, this hangout is the giveaway. I don't know how else to say.
It's value packed, right?
This hangout is the giveaway. These are things you pay for, and I'm so what's the word now? I'm so honored to be in a place where I actually get this done. Because when I was instructed to do, I could have said, Nibo, for what now? Who's saying me? Why? What am I saying? What is it? And all of that. But even in fact, January's hangout almost didn't happen in January. I was almost like, you know what? Let's do it in February, or let's do it to just celebrate my birthday and do it in March. Then I'm like, my life is too small to be the reason for my life, right? Trends Hangout is way beyond Lami Jane. If there was a way to remove Lami Jane from it, we would remove it, just that so that it will not be in the pack of all the other hangouts. Let's put it there. But it's way beyond me, and let's just say this is an early birthday gift from me to you, because it's so valuable. Just the Q&A session is like a whole masterclass itself, and we're all going to have to sit down with this and listen again and again and again. So as far as I'm concerned, I've given you a giveaway this year. Okay. So yes, another giveaway I'll be giving you. I've been building a playlist of videos, mostly on YouTube. You can go watch podcasts, and all of that. So it's a playlist. I'm still building it. I'm going to share it on the Telegram community soon. The link to the Telegram is on the group, is on the chat. You can click it and join. And yes, so that's another gift you should be expecting. Another gift you should be expecting is the video.
Can I add one gift as well?
Yes.
All right. So the ebook you mentioned, which is the Simple Insights. Anybody who wants that as well. And also for anybody who is on this session right now, I have an ebook on how to create short form content, like the bomb type. It's actually, it goes for 5K, but I'll be giving it out for free for anybody who's on this session. So you could just get a list of them. You could just have that sent to me, and or maybe emails. I'll just send you the discount code and you'll be able to access it.
Yes, yes.
So
I'll
also, I'm
compile
working
the
on a
emails and send it.
project. Sorry, I'm working on a project. It's called, I think I've been sharing about it recently, Figuring Life Out. And it's pretty much my stories from my 20s. I mean, I'm approaching 30s. God have mercy. But then, so I share, and then I basically share, experiences from the 20s, figuring life out, knowing that it's a continuous process. And then recently, the idea came to start interviewing people who are exiting their 20s and sort of give 20s people in their 20s like life lessons that they should
I
hold on
love
to.
it. I love it.
So yeah, and there are a couple of like amazing persons on the list, and maybe I should just spill. I don't even know Berge Photography and J.
I'm
Mikey,
not sure.
Ashiri
J.
Comedy,
Mikey.
and a couple of other persons like
I
that.
know
Yeah.
Ashiri Comedy.
So they are on the we're working on the recordings and everything already. So it would be something I would love to share with you guys. So on YouTube it's just Figuring Life Out, Oladimi Ajigbile, and you basically find everything there.
Wow. That is more than, I don't think there was any giveaway we could have come up with that would outdo these things. I don't think so.
Labi J, I don't know. How many of us are on the
Sir?
call right now? Do you have an idea? How
At
many
the
of us are on
moment,
call?
we are 9. At the moment, we are 9.
Good. All right, we're going to give them USD. So I'll give 2 USD to everyone on the call. So I'm like dollars. Just manage it. You don't understand.
What?
You understand?
You
So
are
now
giving
this is the
me
reason why I'm
the
giving
currency of my country.
this is the reason why I'm giving you 2 USD each, because look at the time. It's 3 hours 13 minutes. Only few people I know in this life can stay through 3 hours of teaching. That is not dancing and shaking people or this no. So yeah, that's just to appreciate your commitment. So please, I will teach you how to get it. I'm going to send it directly to you. You can use the app. It's the company I work for. You can use the app. You can get it out in fiat. That's in Naira. You can keep it in USD. You can use it to buy BTC or anything. Like 2 USD for those 9 people on that call. So that's fine.
And please invest it if you can.
Yeah, you can buy USD and leave it. You can buy Bitcoin. You can buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently at 22. Who knows? It can come up. Just leave it there to come up. I don't know.
Just leave it there and forget it. Leave it there and forget it. Wow.
Yep.
See, I have testimony about that too. I left $40 in one place like that, and I came back a year after. I mean, I knew what I was doing, but I just forgot about it. And I came back 2 years after. You should know how much it was in Naira now. No. So, and that day I was in the heat of a need, and I was just going through. I think I have this app. And I just downloaded it, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, wow!" So you never can tell. So
yeah, wow. Let me tell you something. A friend of mine was asking me this morning. Was it yesterday night? That, oh, okay. So how long would this year's strength tango? I'm like, nothing short, just simple, straightforward. If we use 2 hours, safe, what do like straightforward, straight to the point. See me now, 3 hours 50 minutes. Wow, thank you so much. What?
All right.
This hangout outdid itself because I'm kind of having like a mental fatigue, right? The whole of January, so I'm just like, I'm waiting to finish 20 hangout, do my POP, and disappear. I've been saying it for like the past 3 days, like just finish 20 hangout, do my POP, and disappear. But it feels like 20 hangout just gave me like a lot of energy, clarity, and a lot of things. Like, gosh, my God, my God. Okay, it's a good time to bring 20 hangout 2023 January to an end and to a close. I celebrate everyone that stayed through to this time. Thank you for committing to your future and to your future self. Connect with 20s Hangouts on Instagram, on Telegram, and WhatsApp. Okay, and of course, do well to search out our speakers. I'm going to give you one simple task, please. One simple task, please. For Dimeji and Timi Awesu, please go to their Instagram, turn on their post notification. The next thing they drop on Instagram, bombard the comment section with "Thank you for 20s Hangouts 2023." Bombard. See, let people be like, "I was 20s Hangouts." Let people come and be asking you that what happened. Let them come and saying, "Please, can I get a replay?" Because imagine if a lot of people can get what we got today, the wisdom, the counsel. I think Nigeria will be a better place. There will be less pressure. I think Nigeria will
really be.
Like fact.
Right.
So please, that's the only task I'm asking you to do. Their next post, "Thank you for coming to 20s Hangout 2023." Bombard the posts. I'm telling you, go
All right.
ghetto.
The
Biral.
earlier the better. It's very
Thank
easy
you
to
so
get
much.
your
And on that
down.
note, I'll call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, go
I'm
ahead.
Dimeji, I'm going to
Very
send you
easy,
the
just-
emails. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to send you the emails, and Uncle T, I'm going to be in your DM as soon as possible. Okay,
Alright, I can
thank
only
you
share.
so
I
much.
can only share it
and
through the
on
Bitnum
that
app.
note-
Oh. I'm not sharing $. They should not come and carry me. Oh. You know your government do not
No,
like
no.
this thing.
No,
It's
don't worry.
app. Oh.
Download the Bitnob app first. Download the
All right.
Bitnob. Let me spell it out before I sign out. Bitnob, right? Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Right
just
here.
share your
Bitnob.
let me just have the username of everybody there.
And just
I'm
send
sure
the
people-
username to my DM.
Yep. You
And
get
I'll
it,
send it to him.
in a twinkle of an
Right.
eye immediately.
Peace
Can keep
out,
it there,
peace
bye,
out,
BTC.
peace out,
Oh.
peace out.
All right, guys.
Oh my God.
Catch you
Peace
later.
out. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Yep.
I celebrate you. Bye.
Yeah, guys.
If you're watching the
Bye.
replay, bye.
Well,
It was great meeting you.
Respect.
Ah,
All right,
you
guys.
too.
All right.
Bye.